Hello students, welcome to Infinity Learn by Sri Chaitanya. I'm Aniruddha, your physics faculty, and today we'll be discussing the solutions, or rather we'll try to solve the questions that have appeared in the Grand Test 1 of your All India Test series. So we won't waste a lot of time. I have the solutions for the numerical answer type written over here so that we don't waste time in calculations, but everything else I'm going to be doing with you. So let's start with it. First question says that flux passing through the shaded surface of a sphere when a point charge q is placed at the center is. So the area that we are dealing with is this, right? So when a point charge q passing through the shaded, I think we were actually dealing with this part. As in you have the sphere, but you cut off the top part and whatever is remaining, you want to find the flux through that. Now, if you try to find the individual, if you use Gauss law of E dot dA and try to take each individual element of area and try to figure it out, it's going to be a long process. So we can simplify this. There's a simple way to do this. We know that this length is r by 2 and this length over here would be r, which means if we take an angle over here, which is say alpha, then that alpha would be 60 degrees. If you don't know how this is coming, this just if you take a right angle triangle over here, you will see that for r by 2 on the base and capital R as the hypotenuse, you would have this angle to be 60 degree. Now that we have that, we can find out what is the solid angle subtended by this part over here, by this top part over here. What is the solid angle subtended by that? And there's a straightforward relation for that. It's given by omega is equal to 2 pi 1 minus cos of alpha, right? It's 2 pi 1 minus cos of alpha. You might be familiar with this formula. We are finding the solid angle. Remember, it's not a 2D structure, it's a 3D structure. So you can't deal with it through normal angles. You need the solid angle. Now alpha is 60 degree. When you put cos alpha 60 degree, that gives you half. So 1 minus half is going to give you half, and your eventual solid angle is going to be just pi. So this is the solid angle subtended by this top piece over here. Now that part we are not dealing with. We are dealing with the remainder of it. We are dealing with the side of this hemisphere. Now we know that the solid angle of the entire sphere is 4 pi. So the solid angle of the hemisphere would be 2 pi. Of that, we are removing off pi solid angle because of this top part. So the remainder of the solid angle that we are dealing with, let's call that W dash, that is 2 pi, that comes about as the solid angle of the whole hemisphere, minus pi, which is the solid angle of this top piece over here, which we have removed. So the net solid angle is just pi. Now why do we deal with solid angle? Because now we can use unitary method in the Gauss law. In the Gauss law, we know over the entire sphere, because the charge q is at the center, over the entire sphere, the flux was given by q by epsilon naught, right? So for a solid angle of 4 pi, which meant for the entire sphere, the flux linked was q by epsilon naught. So for a solid angle that is only one radian, then for 1 radian, see I'm doing unitary method, is q by epsilon naught into 4 pi. So how much solid angle are we dealing with? We are dealing with a solid angle of just pi, which means for pi solid angle, what you need is q by epsilon naught into 4 pi multiplied with the pi. The pi's cancel out and your final answer is q by 4 epsilon naught. So your correct option is option C over here, or option 3. Alright, so again, because we go by solid angle, it's a lot simpler. Otherwise, it would have been a lot more complicated. Let's move on to the next question. It says that soap bubble, surface tension T, is charged to a maximum surface density of charge sigma. When it is just going to burst, its radius is given by. So over here, there are two forces that are acting. You have the force that comes about because of the surface tension, and you have the other force that is causing it to repel out, that is coming about because of the electrostatic force, because it has a surface charge density. Now we know what the pressure, rather dealing with it over here is, and for a soap bubble, that is given by 4T by R, right? And with regards to the electrostatic force, that would be given by let's keep it E and this is T, that would be given by sigma square divided by 2 epsilon naught. Alright, that is the pressure or force per unit area, or because of this surface charge density sigma. Okay, this is again, both of them are known formulas, and it's going to burst when this is equal or this just starts exceeding it. So since you're finding for the value of r, you have to equate them. So once you equate them, you equate this with 40 by r. You're finding for r over here, so you shift r to the other side, shift everything else down, and you eventually come at r is equal to, you cross multiply there, 8t epsilon naught divided by sigma square. So which one is our correct option? Our correct option is option 2 over here. Right? It's just equating the two forces or two pressures over there. Let's move on. This says in a photoemissive cell with exciting wavelength lambda, the maximum kinetic energy of the electron is k. If the exciting wavelength is changed to 3 lambda by 4, the kinetic energy of the fastest emitting electron will be. So this is from photoelectric effect, where we know the kinetic energy of an emitted electron, k, is equal to 8c by lambda minus phi naught. H was the Planck's constant, lambda is the wavelength that you shine on it, phi naught was called the work function of the material. Now they have said in the next case, we have changed the wavelength to 3 lambda by 4. So in this case, you would have k dash, which would be the new kinetic energy, as 4hc by 3 lambda. All we have done is replace lambda with 3 lambda by 4. Minus, it's going to have the same work function of phi naught. Right? Now see, the question does not end there. They have asked you to find the kinetic energy of emitted electron, but the problem is it has been given in terms of 4k by 3. How do you take it to that? If you look over here, let me just change the color. If you look over here, this 8c by lambda, is over here, and from that we can actually get that with regards to that, 8c by lambda was equal to your k plus phi naught. This comes from the previous relation, and we can replace that 8c by lambda in here. If we replace that over there, then we would get k dash is equal to 4 by 3 k plus 4 by 3 phi naught minus the phi naught that was originally there over here. So your 4 by 3 k plus 4 by 3 phi naught minus phi naught, this part over here is going to give you phi naught by 3, which is a positive quantity. So you see k dash is greater than 4k by 3 because it's 4k by 3 plus a positive quantity. So you know it's greater than 4k by 3, so your correct option is option 4. Right? Moving on to the next question now. It says that in Young's double slit experiment, the slits are 0.5 millimeters apart and the interference is observed on a screen at a distance of 100 centimeter from the slits. So this is your small d, and distance of 100 centimeter, this over here is your capital D, right? This is the distance between slit and screen, that is the distance between the slits. It is found that the 9th bright fringe, it has a distance of 7.5 meters from the second dark fringe from the center of the fringe pattern. The wavelength of the light used is going to be. So let's write down the formulas. Firstly, for the bright fringe, 9th bright fringe occurs at x plus stands for that is a bright fringe. X plus 9 is equal to 9 lambda capital D divided by small d. That's the position of the 9th bright fringe. And you have the second dark fringe at 2 minus half into lambda capital D by small d. These are the positions of the 9th bright fringe, second dark fringe. And they have told you that the distance between them is 7.5 millimeters. So x9 plus minus x2 minus is equal to 7.5 millimeters. So that's how we can write it, 7.5 into 10 to the power minus 3. Since it's in millimeters, we convert it to SI units, is equal to lambda d by d would come out constant, is constant multiplied with 9 minus, and 2 minus half is 3 by 2. 3 by 2 is just 1.5, right? So 9 minus 1.5. Okay. Now over here 1.5 is actually equal to 9 minus 1.5 is 7.5. Right? 9 minus 1.5 is 7.5, which means we can cancel out this 7.5 with this part over here. Once we do that, we need to find for the wavelength lambda, So lambda is equal to small d into 10 to the power minus 3 divided by capital D. You put in small d value is given as 0.5 millimeters. So 5 into 10 to the power minus 4 into 10 to the power minus 3 divided by capital D is given as 100 centimeter, which is just 1 meter. So we keep it as 1 over here. So that is going to give you 5 into 10 to the power minus 7 meters, which is, as you can see, there's only one option. Once you see that there's only 5s and 10s, no need to calculate anymore. You know it has to be your option 1. Because there's everything else has something as 2500 or it has a 7, you won't have that. So this is your correct option over here. Now the next question says that an object is placed in front of a convex mirror at a distance of 50 centimeter. A plane mirror is introduced covering the lower half of the convex mirror. If the distance between object and plane mirror is 30 centimeter, it is found that there is no parallax between the images formed by the two mirrors. A lot going on here, but the best way to do any ray optics sum is to first draw out the diagram, because that will simplify things a lot for you. So we have a convex mirror. That is stated right away. We have a convex mirror which has a, so we place an object at 50 centimeter in front of it. So let this be our object, and this distance is 50 centimeter. This distance is 50 centimeter between the mirror and this object. They have said that you introduce a normal regular mirror, plane mirror over there, where the distance between object and plane mirror is 30 centimeter. So you place a plane mirror out here. This distance is 30 centimeter. And they have said it's found that there is no parallax formed in the images between the two mirrors. So when is there no parallax? No parallax will occur whenever the image because of the plane mirror is at the same position as the image because of the convex mirror. Now since the distance over here is 30 centimeter, we know for a plane mirror, the image will be formed 30 centimeter behind the original mirror, right? So if this is the image because of the plane mirror, then this distance also has to be equal to 30 centimeters, right? And since you want the image because of the mirror and this mirror to be at the same point, you also want that the image formed because of this convex mirror is also at the same point. Now, if the same point you're dealing with the convex mirror, then the actual distance, the image distance is not 30 centimeter. It is now going to be equal to just 10 centimeter. How is that? This is why drawing it out is important, because the entire thing was 50. Up till the mirror, it was 50, right? So the distance between this plane mirror and the convex mirror was 20 centimeter. This distance is 30 centimeter. So 30 minus 20, this distance is just 10 centimeter over here. Now the radius of curvature of the mirror, we need that. So I hope the diagram is clear to you. So we write the general equation for the mirror, 1 by V plus 1 by U is equal to 1 by F. This is just for the mirror, not for, this is just for the convex mirror, not for the plane mirror. So V has to be equal to plus 10. So 1 by 10 plus U is on the other side, 50 centimeter away. So this comes in with a negative sign. So minus 50, and that is equal to 1 by F. So your F would be equal to 50 into 10 divided by 50 minus 10. That takes you to 500 divided by 40. That is equal to 12.5 centimeter. To a few students, going from here to here might seem a little, how did it happen? Just do it out, you'll see eventually arrive at this only. Okay, so it's 12.5 centimeter, but don't get excited and mark it over here, because they have not asked you for the focal length, they have asked you for the radius of curvature. And the radius of curvature, R, is equal to 2 times of the focal length. So it's 2 times of 12.5 centimeter, which is 25 centimeter over here. And that is the correct option for this question. The next question is from the radiation, from the decay. And it says that half-life of a radioactive substance is 20 minutes. The time between 20% and 80% decay will be. Now, a lot of students will make this mistake that they will see the half-life value in times, they will find the decay constant from it, and then they will try to solve the entire n by n naught relation. Don't do that. There's a simple relation. There's a much simpler relation. So the simpler relation over here is just that n by n naught, or rather whatever percentage is left, so I'll keep it here, n by n naught would be equal to half into t divided by t half. So you use this relation. Okay, this way you're a lot simpler. I'll show you how this simplifies things a lot. So for the first case, 20% decay is there, which means how much of it is remaining. So let's clear this out. Right? How much of it is remaining? Remaining is 80%. So 80 by 100, right? You have 80 by 100 remaining, and that has to be equal to half to the power t1, right? We don't know the t1 yet. We don't need the t1 even. t1 divided by the half-life, which is 20 minutes. Keep it in minutes. Don't try to convert it in seconds and complicate things for you. Okay, this is your first equation. 80 by 100 is half into t1 by 20. Next case, when 80% has decayed, how much is remaining? You have 20% remaining. So 20 by 100 is equal to half into t2 by 20 minutes. Again. So you have the two equations from here. We need t2 minus t1. Right? We need t2 minus t1. That is the difference in times we need. And in order to do that, see, you would, again, don't try to find t1, t2. Divide both of them. Because once you divide both of them, you arrive at this relation. 20 by 80 would be equal to half to the power t2 minus t1 divided by your 20 minutes. Right? If you divide both of them, the hundreds cancel out and everything. So over here, 20 by 80 would be 1 by 4, right? 20 by 80 is 1 by 4. Now again, don't apply logarithms over here. Use your common sense. You have 1 by 4 as being half to the power something, right? Half to the power what can give you 1 by 4? For it to be 1 by 4, you want that this part over here has to be equal to 2. Only then can this give you here. So just compare, and once you compare, you know that t2 minus t1 by 20 minutes has to be 2, which means t2 minus t1 will be 2 times of 20 minutes. So your correct option in this case would be option number 2 over here, 40 minutes. So see, use a simpler relation, and also at the end, use your common sense if you can figure it out. We'll do a few more questions which I'll show you how to use common sense with regards to these. Most students, they go so methodical, they waste a lot of time. Right? Let's move on. Says that in a hydrogen atom, if the difference in the energy of the electron is n equal to 2 and n equal to 3 orbits is E, the ionization energy of the hydrogen atom is. So we know the standard relation for the energy whenever there's a jump or a change in between the orbits. E was equal to some constant. There's quite a few terms in the constant, no need to remember. Over here it was 1 by, it's going from energy 2 to 3. So we can keep it, or rather it's going from 3 to 2. Anyway, it doesn't matter, we're dealing with the magnitude. So we'll keep it 2 square minus 1 by 3 square. Right? 1 by n2 square minus 1 by n1 square. So that gives you a value of, this is going to give you 1 by 4, this is going to give you 1 by 9. So you have essentially 9 minus 5 would go to 9 minus 5 divided by, 9 minus 4, pardon me, this would be 9 minus 4 divided by 9 into 4 over here. Yep. So that is going to give you 5 by 36. Right? So this K becomes equal to 36 E by 5. Your K becomes 36 E by 5. Now next time, they've asked you to find the ionization energy. And in ionization energy, where do you need to go to? In ionization energy, let's keep it EI, that is equal to K into, you go to infinity, rather you go to the infinite orbit. Remember, ionization means you're sending the electron completely out. Minus 1 by 1 square, which is just K. This is just K. You get a negative value. Again, I'm ignoring it. Let's put a magnitude around it. We don't really need that. So put a magnitude around this as well. We get K. Okay. And K value is given as 36 E by 5. So EI is just 36 E by 5. That is equal to 7.2 E. So I'll tell you a quick calculation method. If you're dealing with calculations, please don't start dividing. Instead, simplify things for yourself. Multiply 2 up top, multiply 2 down below. That makes it 72 by 10. 72 by 10 is easy to understand. You get 7.2 over there. Okay, this is how you simplify calculations in your competitives. Next up, we have this question which says that ACB is a right angle prism with other angles at 60 degree and 30 degree. Refractive index of the prism is 1.5. There is a thin layer of liquid up top. Light falls normally. Total internal reflections. For total internal reflection, we want the maximum refractive index of the liquid. So the calculation part, the geometry part is done. You already see the angle of incidence as being 60 degree right here. Now we know that with regards to total internal reflection, you need to cross that critical angle where we have the relation that N2 by N1 is equal to 1 by sine IC. Right? IC would be the critical angle, which for us would be 60 degree. Now we know that this over here has to be 1.5. 1.5 divided by N1 is sine of 60 degree. Sine of 60 degree gives you root 3 by 2. So that would essentially make it 2 by root 3. From here on, since you're finding for the liquid, right, just you need to find this N. So N is 1.5 into root 3 by 2. Root 3 by 2, these are some of the relations you should know. Root 3 by 2 is 0.87. Right? So again, calculations taking too much time. Think about it. 87 is roughly close to 90. Right? Forget 0 point over there. 87 is roughly close to 90. 1.5 times of 90 means 90 plus half of 90, that's 45. 90 plus 45 is 135. Right? If you consider this as 90, it would go to 135. It has to be a little less than that, so it has to be 1.3 over there. Again, this is how you speed up your calculations in competitives. This works for MCQ types. Don't do this for numerical answer because there you have to be precise. Next up, in the circuit shown below, in the circuit shown here, the AC source gives a voltage of 20 cos 2000 T. Neglecting source resistance, voltmeter and ammeter reading would be. So we have, this is an LCR circuit, we have the resistance, we have the capacitance, we have the inductance. The inductance also has its own resistance. So what is the net resistance over here? The net resistance R is equal to 6 ohm from here, 4 ohm from here, that's 10 ohms. The inductive reactance omega L is equal to, omega is 2000 multiplied with L is 5 millihenry, so 5 into 10 to the power minus 3. That again is going to give you, that's 10,000 minus 3, that's again 10 ohms. Right? Next up, we need the capacitive reactance. Capacitive reactance is 1 by omega C. This is inductive reactance. This would be your capacitive reactance is 1 by omega C. Again, you go 1 by 2000. 1 by 2000 multiplied with the capacitance 50 microfarad, that's 50 into 10 to the power minus 6. There we have it. Again, if you calculate, you get 10,000, you get 1 lakh over there, 10 to the power minus 5, so it goes up. Again, you get 10 ohms over here. Now see, we are in luck. Yep, we are in luck. Our capacitive reactance is equal to our inductive reactance, which means this circuit is in resonance. How is that important? This is important because we no longer even need to find what the impedance is. We know the impedance is the resistance itself because it's at resonance. So the current, the peak value of voltage is given 20. So the peak value of current I naught would be 20 divided by the resistance 10 ohms. 10 ohms, that's going to give you 2 amperes. Don't jump into the solution that you can't find it. This is the peak value. You need to, the ammeter is going to measure the RMS value. The RMS, IRMS is I naught by root 2. That's 2 by root 2. That's again going to give you root 2. That's just root 2 ampere. That is 1.4 amperes. Alright, now again, can't stop there because we have two options with 1.4 amperes. We need to find the voltmeter reading as well. Now for the voltmeter reading, you have the inductance and capacitance together under the voltmeter, so they'll essentially be cancelling each other out. And the only potential drop would be because of this 4 ohm over here. So if we want to find the VRMS or rather the, not the VI, it's actually the voltmeter reading. That's just this IRMS. My bad. It's just going to be this IRMS multiplied with the resistance, that is 4 ohm. Right? That is 1.4 into 4, that's 5.6. Yeah, so that would be our fourth option over here. Okay. Next question is, we have two statements, assertion A, assertion reasoning. First, it says that the photoelectric effect does not take place if the energy of the incident radiation is less than the work function of the metal. This is the correct statement. We know the relation. K is equal to H mu. Let's keep it in terms of mu. H mu minus phi naught. This is the energy of the incident radiation. If it is less than the work function, kinetic energy is negative, which is not possible. So that then it does not come out. So you need the energy to be greater than phi naught. Next statement says that the reason says that kinetic energy of photoelectron is 0 if the energy of the incident radiation is equal to the work function. So if this is equal to this, kinetic energy is 0. Now this too is a correct statement, but it does not explain why the above thing happens. Right? So both of them are true, but second statement is not the correct explanation. So that should be, so is not the correct explanation. So this is the second option over here. Okay. Next question says that the current through a 4.6 Henry inductor is shown in the following graph. The induced EMF during the time interval t equal to 5 millisecond to t equal to 6 milliseconds is. So we're only dealing with this part. Only dealing with that part. Over there we want to find the induced EMF. So what is the current drop? What is the current drop? The current drop delta I. This I always drags up for me. Delta I, you go from 5 to 0. So it's actually 0 minus 5. So 0 minus 5 amperes, that is minus 5 amperes. And you also want to find the change in time that's given. It goes from 5 to 6. So your delta t is rather 6 minus 5, because final time minus initial time, 6 minus 5 into, it's given in milliseconds, so into 10 to the power minus 3, that's just 10 to the power minus 3 seconds. Right, so delta E and delta T, why do I need them? Because the EMF relation with regards to inductors is given by E is equal to minus L di dt or delta I delta T. Since we have a straight line, we've done it with delta I delta T. Put in the values here. L value is given here as 4.6 Henry. So we put 4.6 in there. Delta I or di we have found as minus 5. Oh, there's a negative sign preceding it anyway. And you have this as 10 to the power minus 3. So 10 to the power minus 3 directly goes up to 10 to the power 3. Negative and negative cancel out. You want 4.6 into 5. Again, the way to do 4.6 into 5 is to multiply with 2 on the numerator and denominator. Whenever you have 5 multiplication, multiply 2 numerator, denominator, it will simplify you. Then up here it becomes 10 divided by 2. 10 into 4.6 is 46, divided by 2 would be 23. So correct option is 23 into 10 to the power 3 volts. Okay. Next up, PQ is an infinite current carrying conductor. A, B and CD are smooth conducting rods on which an inductor EF moves with a constant velocity V as shown. The force needed to maintain the constant speed EF is. So over here there's a conductor moving in a magnetic field, and we know that the relation for that, the standard relation for the EMF was BVL. But we cannot use this relation over here. Why? Because the magnetic field is not constant throughout the length. So what we do here, we go by integration. We choose a thin narrow region dx, right, over where we can assume that the magnetic field is constant. Magnetic field varies because it varies with distance from this conductor. So we consider that and we find the EMF because of that. It would be dE would be equal to BV into dx. And since we want to find the total EMF, you just add up the EMFs from all of them. So E would be equal to integration of BV dx. dx goes from A to B. It's from A to B over here. Now B is the magnetic field because of this current, right? And that has a relation E is equal to mu naught I divided by 2 pi x. there's still the V and there's the dx. Now integrating this, mu naught I by 2 pi and V, all of them are constants. Get them out of the integration. You essentially have integration, the limits you can also put. You essentially have integration of 1 by x dx, which is going to give you ln of x. Ln of x, put the limits in. You get the EMF as mu naught I V by 2 pi. This is the constants that came out. You have integration 1 by x, which is ln of x. You have ln of b minus ln of a, which is going to give you ln of b by a. That is the EMF. Now this is a comparatively longer procedure, the comparatively longer sum. Okay, so there's quite a few parts to this, but I want you to understand we've got the EMF, but this is not, this at least has made these not look so scary. So we have achieved something so far. Now we'll move ahead to finding, we need to find the speed. So first up, we'll keep the EMF over there. We'll keep the EMF relation over there and we'll rub all of these off because we need the space, right? So we've got the EMF, we want to find the power. So the power dissipated in the circuit, the power dissipated PD would be given by E square by R. The EMF, E square is the V square by R, the R is the resistance, that's the power dissipated. So you have this as 1 by R, my bad again, 1 by R multiplied with mu naught IV by 2 pi ln of B by A, and this entire part except the R is squared off because over here you have a square. Now this power dissipated, this power that's being dissipated has to come from somewhere. Where is it coming from? You are having to give a force to move it at that speed V, right? And that force we need to find. So the power supplied would be F into V. Now by law of conservation of energy, this has to be equal to this. Now I'm not, since we are a bit short on space, I'm not doing that. But once you put this equal to this and you're finding for F, all you need to do is shift the V down. Right, you need to shift the V down so that you eventually will get the power as this over here. This would be your force at the end. See, it's just this equal to this. You shifted the V down here, so you're only left with F. So your correct option is option A over here. Both of them look similar. Only difference is here it's B by A, here it's A by B. So be careful about that. Right. Again, we have a assertion reasoning type question, statement 1, statement 2. So the reactance of an AC circuit is 0. It is possible that the circuit contains a capacitor and an inductor. That is true. If the reactance is 0, means the capacitive reactance, inductive reactance are equal. Since their voltages are opposite, are in opposite phase, they are cancelling each other out. Next, statement 2. So this one is correct. Statement 2. In an AC circuit, average power delivered by the source never becomes 0. This is false because just like in the over previous case, that is the case where if there's no resistance, and you are in resonance where the capacitive reactance is equal to inductive reactance, you have the average power delivered by the source as 0. So statement 1 is correct, statement 2 is incorrect. Which one of them is it? Both statement 1 and statement 2. Statement 1 is false, statement 2 is true. I think we got both as a similar option. But anyway, the correct option, I'm assuming it would be option 3 here, because that should be that statement 1 is true and statement 2 is false. Next up, we have two concentric coils, each of radius equal to 2 pi centimeter, placed at right angles to each other. Currents of 3 ampere and 4 ampere respectively are flowing through the two coils. The magnetic induction at the center of the coils will be. So draw this out over here. We have one coil that we are assuming is in, suppose, this axis, and we have another coil in the perpendicular axis that would be like this. So at the center you have, suppose if the current is flowing in this direction and in this direction here, because of this coil over here, the magnetic field would be directed in that direction at the center, and because of this coil, the horizontal coil, the magnetic field would be directed upwards. Your net magnetic field would just be the vector sum of both of them, right? So we can find what the individual them are. So let's call this name, we can call coil 1, coil 2, whatever. The magnetic field B1 from the first coil would be mu naught I divided by 2a or 2r, whatever we call it as, that would be equal to 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7 into the current. Let's say for the first coil it's 3 amperes, so 3 divided by 2 into the radius is provided as 2 pi centimeters, so 2 pi into 10 to the power minus 2. Now over here some things are going to cancel out. 2 pi cuts off 4 pi, leaves you a 2. You can cancel out this 2 over here as well. So 10 to the power minus 2, 10 to the power minus 7 cancels out to give you a minus 5 out here. B1 would be equal to 3 into 10 to the power minus 5. Did I do it right? Yeah. 3 into 10 to the power 5 10 to the power minus 5 Tesla. Now we need to find B2. We need to find B2. B2 is again same relation, right? Same relation, only difference. So this was I1, it would be I2. Now again, I don't want you to waste much time here. See, mu naught I2 divided by 2R, right? Mu naught is same, 2R is same. And compare the relation with this value. What has changed? Whatever was the current is the current into 10 to the power minus 5. Right? Over here it's almost the same. Again, try to understand, try to find the analogies. It's almost everything is the same. So B2 would be equal to 4 into 10 to the power minus 5 Tesla. We don't do the calculation. We compare what is different. The current was 3, so it came 3 into 10 to the power 5. So by analogy, current is 4, everything else is same. So this should also come 4 into 10 to the power minus 5. Speeding up the process. So we have got B1 and B2. We want the net magnetic field at the center, which let's do it out here. The net magnetic field is root over of B1 square plus B2 square. You have this square plus that square. You know 10 to the power minus 5 is same in both. That's going to come out. You have squared it and you have added, so that's going to come out right away. And then you are left with 3 square plus 4 square. 3 square plus 4 square is 9 plus 16, 25. Root over of that is 5. So you have 5 into 10 to the power minus 5. Now I'm showing you just to speed things up, how to speed it up if you really want that. Otherwise you can go by the standard way, you can calculate. But I would recommend, if you are really targeting top scores, use these shortcut methods. Try to get them done, because then you'll be able to cover much more, because you know you're going to need a lot more time in maths. So as fast as you can do physics, the better for you. Okay. But again, if you're not confident, if you don't feel safe doing it before your JEE, 1 month before your JEE, I'd recommend you can also take the safer way, calculate the entire thing. So we have 5 into 10 to the minus 5. We have an option right here. This says that in an experiment to measure the internal resistance of a cell by a potentiometer, it is found that the balance point is at a length 2 meter when the cell is shunted by 5 ohms and at a length of 3 meter when the cell is shunted by 10 ohms. The internal resistance of the cell is. So we know the formula for finding the internal resistance from a potentiometer. You use 2 shunts and the relations go like L1 by L2 was equal to R1 divided by R1 plus small r divided by R2 divided by R2 plus small r. Right? This was our relation. And we have been given everything. The small r is what we need to find. We have been given everything over here. So first up, just cross multiply to simplify things up for you a bit. So you would have L1 R2 divided by L2 R1, and that would be equal to your R2 plus small r divided by R1 plus small r, right? So now put in the values. L1 is 2 meters and it goes with L1 with R2. So this is L1, that is R2. So you have 2 into 10, and down below you have 3 meters with 5 ohms. So you have 3 into 5. That is equal to R2 was what? R2 was 10. 10 plus small r divided by 5 plus small r. So that on this side I'm writing, that's be 20 by 15. Right? This just 2 into 10 and this. So I've kept it on that side, and see again, don't start calculating, don't cross multiply, add, subtract, don't do that. Again, try to figure this out. 10 plus R is 20, 5 plus R is 15. Try to observe it, right? R has to be equal to 10 ohms. You can see that from here itself. 10 plus 10 gives you 20, 5 plus 10 gives you 15. So don't calculate. Again, you save up. Every second matters. You get it as 10 ohm. Okay? Once you get there, try to figure it out. Next, find the equivalent capacitance across A and B. Looking complicated, but things simplify. First up, you see this 15 ohm and 10 ohm. They're in between, even though they might look in a very different arrangement. 15 ohm and 10 ohm are just two capacitors in parallel because they're about the same potential difference. Right? So these two would be in parallel, which means the combined effect of both of them is going to be 10 plus 15 ohm, that's 25 microfarad. I'm saying ohm again and again. It's 25 microfarad, right? Same thing applies for this and this, because again they are in between the same potential differences. So again, these two would give you 2 microfarad. Remember, in parallel, capacitances get added up. Now once you've got that, you can actually just, it might look in this shape, just twist it. Think of it if you twist it, because then this will give you a more familiar shape. First you've punched these together, you've punched this together, and now your circuit is going to look like this. This would be your A. Up top would be your this combined one, the 25 microfarad. Then you move ahead, bottom, you have this as it is, 10 microfarad. In between over here, you have this 13 microfarad, because you see, again, it's connected in that very way. You have this as 13 microfarad. Again, up top, 5 microfarad as was. The 5 microfarad up here. And again, down here, you have the 2 microfarad that comes because of the combining over here. Sorry, this is point B. If you have a moment to, if you need a moment, observe this, how this translates to, look at the potentials. And it's all about stretching. So firstly, you remove them, think of them just being a single wire over here with 25 microfarad. Forget it's like this, same thing. Then you will see all you need to do is take these ends and stretch them like this, and you will arrive at this shape. Okay, if you need, take a moment to understand this, pause this video, take a moment to understand this, because this, exactly this shape will come in capacitance, it will come in resistance as well. And this is going to lead into this, a Wheatstone bridge. And the great thing about the Wheatstone bridge is, for this especially, is that it's balanced. Because you see 25 into 2, 50, 10 into 5, 50. So cross is equal, that is why it's in a balanced state. Because it's in a balanced state, it means you can just forget. You can just, I can't use the eraser like that. But anyway, you can just forget that this wire exists. You can just cut it off, throw it away. Because now your circuit reduces to just, you have A out here, you have I'm putting resistances again and again, because this question comes quite often with resistances. So you now have a 25 microfarad and you have the 5 microfarad in series. On this side you have the 10 microfarad and the 2 microfarad again in series. So this is 25, this is 5, this is 10, and this would be 2. So you need to find what the equivalent capacitance is from here. For the upper part, it's going to be, let's see, upper part is 25 into 5 divided by 25 plus 5. That gives you 25 into 5 is 125 divided by 30. By 30, cancel out a few. This goes with 25, this goes with 6. I'm cancelling out with 5 here, so that's 25 by 6. Again, I'll show you why I'm doing the calculation here, because it's going to simplify. On the other side, you have the lower part, C lower, as being 10 into 2 divided by 10 plus 2. That is 20 by 12. That is equal to, that's going to be dividing by 5. Oh, sorry, I'm dividing by 2 over here. So that would make it 10 by 6, right? Make it 10 by 6. So the net capacitance is just Cu plus Cl, and see how well the values have been given to you, because at the end you have the same denominator 6, which means you can just add up the numerators. 10 plus 25 plus 10, 35 divided by 6. So correct option 35 by 6 microfarad. So even though it looks complicated that you have 13 and everything, people get scared. It's actually quite simple once you figure out to go from here to here. That's all, right? Next it says, in the following electrical network at T less than 0 as given in the figure, key is placed at 1. So it's here. The capacitor till the capacitor gets fully charged. Then the key is placed at 2 on 2 at T equal to 0. Time when the energy in both the capacitor and inductor will be the same for the first time. So it's, you charge up the capacitor, you flip it, then you just have an LC circuit without any source, and you know the energy, it's like a tank circuit, energy going to keep oscillating in between them. Now the energy for the capacitor is given by half Q square by C. And it is said at the moment that you want, at the time that you want, this is equal to half of half capital Q square by C. Capital Q is the maximum charge that can be there in the capacitor. And then this part, this half capital Q square by C is the maximum energy. You want that the current energy to be half of that. That is why you have the half multiplied to the maximum energy. And see over here, what is the relation between Q, small q and capital Q? Small q would be capital Q cos of omega t. Now to students who are wondering why it is cos, remember it's cos because you're starting off with maximum charge on the capacitor. You're starting off with the maximum energy in the capacitor, right? That is why it's cos. If you started off with maximum over here and the energy in the capacitor was 0, then you would have this as sin omega t, because sin starts at 0 from t equal to 0. But cos starts from its maximum value at t equal to 0. So over here you can put in the relations, some of the terms cancel out. You essentially have q square is equal to half of capital Q square. Once you put in from here, you get q square cos square omega t is equal to q square by 2. Again, q squares cancel out, and cos square omega t is equal to half. Cos square omega is equal to half, which is that cos omega t would be equal to 1 by root 2. A familiar result for a trigonometric function, 1 by root 2. We know that omega t, I'm shifting it over here. Let's create a partition. Omega t is going to be equal to pi by 4, 45 degrees. Right? Because cos 45 is 1 by root 2. Omega is 1 by root LC. So t is equal to 1 by root LC. Send the root LC over to the other side. Pi by 4 into root over of LC. So your correct option is option 1. Okay. You can even do this in a little different way, a faster way, but that leads to more complications. I'll tell you though. So you know that over the entire time period, right? Over the entire time period, the energy changes twice, right? So one time period means it started with maximum energy here, full energy transferred there, again full energy transferred here, again full energy transferred. That's an entire time period. So if you go with the full time period, you'll know at 1/8 of the time, you would be having the energies as being equal. So do it with respect to the graph. Again, it can get a bit more confusing, so I'm not going into detail. But if you have got from what I have said, then you would know what I'm meaning. You have the, with respect to the graph, you know, at 1/4 of the point, it would be maximum. The ratio of radii of nuclei, aluminium is given and some X is given, and the ratio of the radii of the nuclei is 3:5. The number of neutrons in the nuclei of X will be, so what is the relation? The relation is R is proportional to e to the power 1 by 3, where A is the mass number. So for this, over here it is said that 3 by 5 would be equal to 27 to the power 1 by 3 divided by this would be A here, A to the power 1 by 3. Now again, please don't go ahead and cross multiply over here. Okay, don't waste that time, especially because you have cube roots. compare 27. 27 is 3 cube to the power 1 by 3. And if it's 5 over here, what can you expect on that side? You can expect that side also to be 5 cube. Right? What is 5 cube? 5 cube is 125. So your A is equal to 125. So again, go by comparison. It will speed things up for you. Now again, don't jump into this 125 over here because they've asked you for the number of neutrons. Number of neutrons is mass number minus the atomic number. So 125 minus 52, and your answer is 73. Okay. Next, you have a luminous object is placed at a distance of 30 centimeter for the convex lens of focal length 20 centimeter. On the other side of the lens, at what distance from the lens a convex mirror of radius of curvature 10 centimeter can be placed in order to have an upright image of the object coincident with it? Quite a bit given over here. So we have the convex mirror. We have the convex mirror here, and its object is placed 30 centimeter in front of it. So here's the object, is 30 centimeter again. Since we are dealing with ray diagrams, always draw it out. You'll visualize things a lot better. It has a focal length 20 centimeters. We'll deal with that later. On the other side of the lens, at what distance from the lens a convex mirror of radius of curvature 10 centimeter is placed? So here we have the convex mirror, and it has a radius of curvature 10 centimeter. Again, we'll deal with that later. Now if they've asked that we want an upright image coincident with it, that means we also want the image to be at this point. In order for that to happen, what we need is that if the rays are going out, up to this lens out here and converging, right? Converging on this mirror over here. Now, if it has to be, the image has to be coincident, you want the reflected ray or the rays coming back to also meet at this point, right? You want the reflected rays also to meet at this point. And by the law of reversibility of light, we know that the only way the rays can come and meet here is if they retrace this path back. Okay, so retracing this path back means when it hits here, when they hit over here, you want them to be reflected perfectly back. When is that possible? When is the case when a light ray hitting a convex mirror is reflected back along it? That happens only if the light rays, if produced forward, meet at the center of it, right? This would be the center of this, right? And over here we have been given the radius of curvature of this convex lens as 10 centimeter. Only when that is the case will the light rays be reflected back. And then you would have it over here. What does this mean? What does this mean? This tells you that this is your object distance for the lens. The image distance for the lens has to be this. The lens has to try to create an image over there. Only then will the light rays fall in such a way that they are reflected back. Okay, so we have the focal length. We have been given the focal length of the lens. We have been given the object distance of the lens. Let's find out what the image distance would be. Things might get a bit cluttered, but let's do it here. 1 by v minus 1 by u is equal to 1 by f, which means v is something we need to find, 1 by f plus 1 by u. So 1 by v is equal to 1 by f plus 1 by u. V would be equal to f into u divided by f plus u. Right, so f into u, f is given as 20 centimeters, so 20 multiplied with u, u would be 30, actually it would be minus 30 centimeter divided by, over here we would be having it at u is minus 30, right, we would have this at v plus, so it would be 20 minus 30. Yeah, so that is our image distance. That is going to give you v as equal to 20 into 30 makes it 600. 600 divided by 10, that's going to be 60 centimeters. 60 centimeters, right? 20 into 3600 divided by 10. Negatives cancel out. You have it as 10. P is 60 centimeter, of which I know this distance. So this distance has to be 60 centimeters, of which this has been set as 10 centimeters. So the distance we want to find, that how far you want the convex mirror. So that has to be 50 centimeters. So correct option is 50. 60 minus 10. Next question. In the circuit shown below, the internal resistance of the battery is 1.5 ohms. Vp and Vq are the potential at P and Q respectively. What is the potential difference between the points P and Q? So first up, get the equivalent resistance. What is it? You have 5 ohms from this, 5 ohms from this. In parallel, equal resistances in parallel means they'll give a net equivalent of R by 2. That is 5 by 2. So 5 by 2 comes from here, 1.5 here. So your equivalent would be 2.5 ohms. 2.5 ohms comes from this entire part. Again, use the quick method. Equal resistances in parallel give you half of the resistance in their equivalent. So 5 and 5 give you 5 by 2, that is 2.5 ohms. Plus, right here the internal resistance is 1.5 ohms. That gives you total of 4 ohms. So the net current is 20 volts divided by 4. So the net current is 20 by 4 amperes, that is 5 amperes. Now 5 ampere current comes in, right? 5 ampere current is coming in, and as it is coming in, it's going to be split up in the parallel path, right? And there's two parallel lines, and the split has to be equal, which means that this will go in with 2.5 amperes and this will also go in with 2.5 amperes, right? Let's write this down so that it doesn't look that cluttered. So here also it goes 2.5 amperes, here also it goes 2.5 amperes, because the parallel, each of the paths have equal resistance. If the resistance was unequal, you would have got it in different ratio. But because here also it's 5 ohm, here also it's 5 ohm, equal current is going to divide equally. Now let's assume that this has a potential, say x, which means if going from here to here, right, going from x to going from this, whichever the point x is, to P, there will be a potential drop in the top part. There will be a potential drop of 2.5 into 3 amperes. So Vx minus Vp will be equal to 3 into 2.5, that is 7.5 volts. That's going to be the potential drop across this. In the bottom part, because it's 2 amperes, you have Vx minus Vq as just 2.5 into 2, that is 5 volts. So you see the difference between these two. Remember, x is same. So the difference between Vp and Vq is 2.5 volts. 7.5 minus 5. And Vq is at a higher potential because the drop is less. Remember, this is the drop, not the gain. So the drop is less. Whatever the potential was, it has dropped less along this path. So at Q, it should be higher. So the correct option is option 4. Vp is greater. I think this is going to be reversed over there. Vq in your actual answer scripts, it would be given as Vp is less than Vq. And you have it as 2.5 volts. Vq, the potential drop is lesser. Okay. Next, the equipotential surfaces are shown in figure. The electric field cells. So these are the numerical values. Some of the answers I have got here because these involve some places there are a few calculations. I don't want to waste your time. So just a few answers once in a while. So the electric field strength is 4n volt per meter. The value of n is. So how do you find the electric field strength? E is equal to del V del R. Right? I'm telling the magnitude. You can forget the negative sign for now. It's del V del R. Right? Now when you're finding the change in voltage is given for each layer, it's 10 volt to 20 volt. But this delta R, the distance between them has to be the perpendicular distance, which means it has to be this perpendicular distance over here. Now this length is 10, but with regards to this right angle triangle over here, this length is the hypotenuse, which means if you want to find this length, that is your delta R. That delta R is equal to your hypotenuse, that is 10 centimeter or 10 into 10 to the power minus 2 meters multiplied with sine theta. right? Because that line is the opposite. So it's sine 30. Sine 30 degrees. Sine 30 is half, which means delta R is going to be 5 into 10 to the power minus 2 meters, right? We have delta R. We have also been given our delta V, that is 10, because we are doing in the same layers, right? So over here our delta V is 10 and our delta R is 5 into 10 to the power minus 2. So that gives us, this gives you a 2 right here, that sends it up, so makes it 200 Newton per, 200 volt per meter, right? But that is not what is asked. We have been said that this is equal to 4n, so n value will be equal to 50. You would say that this is a redundant thing. Why I've found this, why do I have to equate, why do they give a question like this? Because this is a very important question, because most students will get that answer, put 200. This is important for you to notice that read the question thoroughly, read it well, don't get excited when you find the solution easily. Okay, read it well, it's given 4n, so n has to be equal to 50. Next, what is the power output of uranium-235 reactor if it takes 30 days to use up 2 kg of fuel, and if each fission gives 142 mega electron volts of usable energy? This is the big calculation. Avogadro's number is 6.2 into 10 to the power 26 per kilomole. So first up, it's 2 kg. We need to find out how many moles there are, or rather how many kilomoles there are. So the actual mass given is 2 kg. We know 1 kilomole is there in 235 kgs. Kilomole corresponds to kgs, right? If you're confused with kilomole, this is in kilomoles, so kilomole correspond to kgs. Generally we do 2 gram by 235 gram. As soon as you do 2 kg by 235 kg, you take it to kilogram, you also shift to kilomole. Okay? So the total mole is, the total kilomoles is 2 by 235, right? That is the total number of kilomoles. And you also need to find, so these many kilomoles, how many nuclei will they have? That is, how many atoms will they have? This number, 26. Number of kilomoles multiplied with the number of atoms per kilomole. This will give you the total number of nuclei that needs to disintegrate. Now, each disintegration gives off 142 mega electron volts. 142 into 10 to the power 6. Mega means 10 to the power 6. It's given in electron volts. They've asked you for the answer in megawatt. So you have to convert it to joule. 1 electron volt is equal to 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 joule. See, the calculation is becoming huge. But that's that you will have to do over here. There's no way around it. And this is the total energy given off, right? Am I missing anything else? 2 kg, 142 mega electron volts. Yep, this is the total energy given off. And this energy is given off in 30 days. So since we are finding the power is the energy, this is the full energy, divided by the time. So we divide the entire thing by the time. You can send the 235 down as well. I've just kept it so that it's clearly defined what is energy and what is time. Time is 30 days. Just complicating calculations more. We have 30 days multiplied with 24 hours per day, multiplied with 60 minutes per hour, multiplied with 60 seconds per minute. This is your final calculation. You calculate and you will get the answer. Since I'm a teacher, I have my privileges. So I have the final solution, that would be 44.87 megawatt. Right? So go ahead, calculate. I mean, in an exam you would have to calculate. That's why, otherwise there's not a lot to the question. That's what you're expected to do. But there's the conceptual part I've explained, and then I've used my privileges. It's like in cooking shows. Like in cooking shows, they add stuff and then they bring out the finished product. So here it is. Okay, let's move on to the next question. It says in the figure, 2 equal positive point charges, Q1, Q2, 2 microcoulomb, interact with the third point charge, that has 4 microcoulomb, magnitude as well as the direction of the net force. So positive charges, so this charge is going to push in this direction, this charge is going to push in this direction, right? And so right off the bat you can understand that the net force is going to be in this positive x direction. Why? Because if you break it up into components, if you break them up into components, each of these, then you will see that these components are going to cancel each other out, and it's this component that is going to get added up. Okay, so just to make things a little clearer for you, you have this force, and this is an angle. I'll tell you about the angle as well. Suppose if this angle is theta, right, this angle is also equal to theta because it's symmetrical. And the net force, if this force is F, you will tell that even this force has to be F. Why? Because the charges are the same, the pair of charges are the same, also the distance between the charges is the same. So this, you don't deal with the vertical components, only with those components. So only F cos theta matters from this, and only F cos theta also matters from the down one. So the total force, let's do it here, F net is 2F cos theta, right? F net is 2F cos theta, that is, F is the electrostatic force, that is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Q1, Q2 is Q1, in both cases is the same thing, it's 2 into 4 into 10 to the power minus 12. Minus 12 comes because microcoulomb, 10 to the power minus 6 from here, 10 to the power minus 6 from here. So microcoulomb gives you that, divided by r square, that's 0.5 meters. So that is 0.5 square. So this is the force into cos theta. Cos theta over here would be your, so if this is theta, if this is given alpha, this would actually be alpha on both sides. I've added an extra variable, but anyway, it's going to, you'll understand that it's this base divided by the hypotenuse. So it's 0.4 divided by 0.5. It's the same alpha, right? I've just put another angle there. By vertically opposite angles, you'll get it as alpha only. So that's 0.4 by 0.5. Again, straight away calculation using my teacher privileges, I can tell that this is equal to 0.46. Okay, again, don't get overexcited because we need to find small n. It's 46 into 10 to the power minus n. That is equal to 0.46, which means n is equal to 2. So for 46 into 10 to the power minus 2 will give you 0.46. Okay, this is in newtons, by the way. Fine. Next up, it says an ammeter is obtained by shunting a 30 ohm galvanometer with a 30 ohm resistance. What additional shunt should be connected across it to double the range in it? So we are converting from galvanometer to ammeter, which means we have the galvanometer here and our shunt resistance is connected in parallel to it, right? So this is your R, this suppose has a resistance G, and you want here the maximum current through the galvanometer is Ig, the maximum current coming in is I. Now see, because the galvanometer and the shunt resistance have the same resistance, in the shunt they have the same resistance, it means that if Ig current passes here, also Ig current has to pass over there, because it's essentially a parallel circuit. If they are equal resistances, equal current will go, which means I in this case has to be equal to 2Ig. Now they have said that you want to double that. So now the current that it should be able to take in, now your I dash has to be equal to 4Ig. Right? I dash has to be equal to 4Ig. Which means with regards to the galvanometer circuit, we know that the current through the galvanometer Ig should be equal to the other resistance, which is the new shunt resistance, R dash divided by sum of the resistances R dash plus G into Ig. Right? Now again, my bad, this will be equal to I dash, my bad, equal to I dash. So we put in the values here, Ig is equal to, so I've sometimes used capital G, sometimes negative G, they mean the same thing, R dash by R dash plus GU is 30 ohm, that is not going to change. 30 ohms multiplied with I dash is 4Ig. 4Ig, again Ig and Ig can cancel out, and from here if you solve it again, send R plus 30 here, you have 4 R dash over here, that is going to give you 3 R dash is equal to 30, so R dash would give you 10. So the new shunt resistance that you need is 10 ohm. Now that is not what is asked. The new shunt resistance is not asked. They've asked you what additional shunt you should connect. So the earlier it was already 30. You want it to come down in 10, which means the new shunt resistance has to be connected in parallel to it. That is the only way you can reduce the value. Because if you add in series, you'll only be adding it up. So that means, let's create out a little box over here for our last bit of the calculation. So over here, you want that this new 1 by R dash should be equal to the original resistance plus the RA, which is the added resistance, parallel. So R dash is 1 by 10, this was 1 by 30 plus 1 by RA. Again, if you do this, I'm assuming RA would be 30 into 10 divided by 30 minus 10. That is going to give you 300 by 20, that is 15. 15 ohms. Right? So the additional shunt resistance that you need to add is equal to 15 ohms. That is your correct answer. Alright? So again, don't get excited as soon as you find the new shunt resistance. That is not what is added. Okay, read the question well, then you need the additional shunt resistance, not the new one. Now, it says a wire of density 9 into 10 to the power 3 kg per meter cube is stretched between two clamps 1 meter apart and is subjected to an extension of 4.9 into 10 to the power minus 4 meter. The lowest frequency of transverse vibration in the wire is. Now for the lowest frequency, we need the tension, we need the mass per unit length. We have neither of them here. But don't panic, have faith in physics, you'll get there. First up, since Young's modulus is given, we know Y is equal to the stress, which is tension by area, divided by the change in length, delta L, divided by the total length L. Which means we need the tension out. Remember, we need to get to tension for the frequency. So the tension is going to be equal to Y A delta L divided by the total length L. Now we have been given the density. Density is mass per unit volume. This is not the mass per unit length. But we know the frequency we are finding, the lowest frequency of a transverse vibration for clamped at both ends. N is equal to 1 by 2L into root over of T divided by mu. Mu is the mass per unit length. Okay, so we put in this value of T, we just got 1 by 2L root over of YA delta L by L into mass per unit length, right? So mass and the length up here. Okay, so we have mass and a length up here. Now see where the great thing comes up. Let's use blue color. This area into length, right? Not the delta L. Area into length is the volume. Okay, which means you have a volume in the numerator. You have a mass down below, and mass divided by volume is the density. So you see, this is in fact useful, and the things you're scared about, they are actually disappearing. So mass by volume is your density. So you put that in, you get 1 by 2L root over of Y into delta L divided by your density into the original length L, because mass by volume has now become the density rho. And then we need to calculate, we have the values for everything. Young's modulus is provided to us, the extension delta L is given to us, density is given to us, and even the original length is given as 1 meter, which means we have the final relation. So time to use my teacher privileges, and your N value would come out to be, subject is, and my bad, I missed on which of this it would be. The lowest frequency of the so oh, this is x by 5. So if this is x by 5, then x should be equal to this. We'll get value. Your x value would be equal to 175. Okay, my teacher privileges are not helping out too much here. So x by 5 has to be equal to, x is 175, right? Yeah, x is 175. So that gives me the actual frequency as 5 into 175. 5 into 175 would go to 300, 350, 700 would 875, I'm assuming. So n is equal to x by 5. My x is 175, so I need to divide it by 5. 3 into 5, so 35. This would come out to be, I'm assuming, 35. Only then would I get x is equal to 175. Yep. So n value will come as 35 Hz. Okay, x is 175 after that. Then we move ahead. Two slits in Young's interference experiment have width in the ratio of 1:4. The ratio of intensity at the maxima and minima in their interference is. So when you have different width of the slits, that in fact contributes to the intensity. The intensity of light coming out of each of them is going to be different, and that ratio is 1:4. So your I1 and I2 is equal to 1/4. That is what is given. But when we are finding maxima and minima, for maxima and minima, we need root overs of these. Instead, we have to work with the amplitudes. So A1 by A2 divided by A1 minus A2 whole square. This is the relation for the ratio of the intensity, right? Otherwise, we would have had to write root over of I1 plus root over of I2 whole square. So we need to go from intensity to amplitude, and that is simple, because we know intensities are proportional to square of amplitude. So we have A1 square divided by A2 square, that is equal to 1/4, which means A1 by A2 is equal to half, right? A1 by A2 is equal to half. We can assume that A1 is equal to 1 and A2 is equal to 2, because at the end we're again finding a ratio. So even if there's a proportionality constant there, they would eventually balance each other out. They'd cancel each other out, right? So A1 is 1, A2 is 2. This is going to give me 1 plus 2, 3 square divided by 2 minus 1, 1. So 1 square, that is equal to 9/1. So the ratio of the intensity would be 9/1. So see, so the first thing is recognizing that the ratio of the width gives you the ratio of intensity, and then realizing that you actually need to get the ratio of the amplitudes. Once you've done that, it's a straightforward process beyond it. Next question, it says a police car moving at 22 meters per second chases a motorcyclist. The policeman sounds his horn at 176 Hz, while both of them move towards a stationary siren of 165 Hz. Okay. Calculate the speed of the motorcycle if it is given that he does not observe any beats. Okay, so first up, he's going to hear a sound, a frequency because of this police car, and that would be equal to, let's call this NP, equal to, so this is a case, source moving towards observer, observer moving away from the source, which means in this case, if the speed of the car is, if the speed of sound is, right, V0, let's instead of V0 we have to use the standard relation here. I'm assuming the standard value for the speed of sound in air is 330 meters per second. So 330 minus V, because the observer is moving away, so 330 minus V divided by 330 minus he is moving at 22 meters per second. 22 multiplied with 176, because that is the sound which he is emitting. This is the police, this is the sound he hears from the police car, okay? And on the other side you have the siren. I should have thought this through, written NP on this side, but anyway, the siren is going to be, the siren is stationary, but the observer is moving towards it. So this case you have 330 plus V divided by just 330, because the source is stationary, 330 plus V, and the siren is emitting a sound at 165 Hertz. Since no beats are formed, that means this frequency has to be equal to the frequency over here. If you do that, you have the relation as 330 minus V divided by 330 minus 22 is going to give you 308. You put in 176 and again 330 plus V by 330, this stays as is, and you have 165 on the other side. Now from here on out, I can use my teacher privileges, but I'll simplify things for you again. Simplify things for you, because this 176 and this 165, they are multiples of 11. This is going to take away 16, I'm assuming. Yeah, this will go with 16. This would then give you 15. These are all multiples of 11, right? I've cancelled 11 out here. Once I've cancelled out 11, this 15 goes with this, it's going to give you 22. Give you 22 right here, right? Is anything else going? Yep. This 22 again goes with 308, because 22 over here is going to give you 8 out, 8, 8. So it's 1 and 4, so 14, right? Again, if you want 14 and 16, you can cancel them out to get 8 and 7. See, I've simplified a lot for you. From here on, just cross multiply, get the final solution, and your final solution should be V would be equal to 22 meters per second. Okay, that would be your final. See, I've simplified it quite a bit, but now it's just cross multiplying and finding the solution for it. All right. Next up, to find the ratio of the acceleration of electron in singly ionized helium atom and hydrogen atom, both in ground state. So for this, we know that the acceleration A is equal to V square by R, right? Acceleration A is V square by R, and we know that with regards to the orbitals and everything, V is proportional to Z by N. Z is the atomic number, and N refers to the number of shell, like which orbit it's in which excited state it's in. V is proportional to Z by N, and R is proportional to N square by Z, which means if you are finding for V square by R, then it's just, if you do the proportionality, then A would be proportional to Z by N multiplied with Z by, sorry, it would be Z square N square, because it's V square, and that would contribute just R, reciprocal of R, so Z goes up, N square goes down. That will make acceleration proportional to Z cube by N to the power 4. Now both are in the ground state, so N is 1 for both of them. The only thing we are dealing with is that acceleration is proportional to Z cube. Now for the helium, Z is 2. For hydrogen, Z is 1. So AHE, A helium by AH2 hydrogen, it would be rather, let's keep it H just to remove any ambiguity. Then that is equal to 2 by 1 cube, that is equal to 8 by 1, right? So this is going to give you, the ratio is going to be 8. Next up, on sounding tuning fork A with another tuning fork B of frequency 384 Hertz, 6 beats are produced per second. After loading the prongs of A with wax and then sounding it again with B, 4 beats are produced per second. Frequency of the tuning fork is 5N Hertz. Generic question, because this is the kind of question which comes quite often in your JEE. So you know that it's 384 Hertz produces a beat frequency of 6 Hertz, which means it either has to be greater by 6 Hertz or less by 6 Hertz. So our two options are either 390 Hertz or it is 378 Hertz. Now over here it is said that once we've loaded the prongs of wax of A with wax, which means we have reduced the frequency of A, then the beat frequency is reduced. This can reduce. So if you've reduced frequency of A and beat frequency have reduced, this means A has to be greater than frequency of B. Because only then, if you reduce the value in your formula, of beat frequency equal to Na minus Nb, right? Only if Na was greater, let's keep it in magnitude, Na minus Nb, only if A is greater than B is the case where reducing A reduces beat frequency. Because if it was Nb minus Na, reducing A would have increased the beat frequency because the distance would have become, the separation would have become even more. So correct option in this case is 390 Hertz, right? But over here we have to give it as 5n, so your n value will be equal to 78. Again, checking my teacher privilege paper. Okay. Next, this is the last question I'm assuming. Yep. Two long current carrying conductors placed parallel to each other at a distance of 8 cm between them. Shifted there, 8 cm between them. The magnitude of the magnetic field produced at midpoint between the two conductors due to current flowing in them is 300 microtesla. The equal current flowing in the two conductors in ampere is, so you have the two conductors and you want it at the midpoint. Now, because they're equal conductors, equal current carrying conductors, and the fact that at the midpoint magnetic field is not zero, means that the magnetic fields are adding up. Because the magnetic field at the center, because of both of them, has to be the same. The magnitude has to be the same because the current is same, the distance is same, which means they are just getting added up. They are not subtracted, which means each of them is giving you 150 microtesla. Okay, so that is what we'll deal with. This will help us in our calculations. B has to be equal to 150 microtesla, and B we know for a straight conductor is mu naught I divided by 2 pi r, that is 150 into 10 to the power minus 6. Now I is what we need to find. R value, see the distance between them is 8 centimeters. So the R value is just, this is 8 centimeters, which means this R value is just 4 centimeters. So that is what we'll be putting in here, and we will get I is equal to 150 into 10 to the power minus 6 multiplied with 2 pi into 4 centimeters, that is 4 into 10 to the power minus 2, divided by mu naught. Mu naught is 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7. Once again, you calculate this and you'll get the current flowing in the conductor is the same current, that will be equal to 30 amperes. So that is your answer, same current flowing in both conductors. So see, reducing it down is a lot simpler, otherwise you'd figure out how do they break up, what proportion do each of them get. Since they're equal current, midpoint between them, they have to be equal magnetic field from both. So that's it, we've done all of the questions, and I hope everything is clear. If you have any doubts, do put in the comments anywhere. And that's it. I'll see you with the solutions for the next test series. That's it from this one. Thank you so much for watching.
Welcome to the solution of All India Test Series Grand Test 1 Chemistry paper. I am Nitin Verma, a chemistry faculty at Infinity Learn by Sri Chaitanya. So let's get started with the solution. The first question says, azeotropic mixtures are formed only by non-ideal solutions and they may have boiling point either greater than or less than the boiling points of individual components. Yes, that is true, because azeotropic mixtures, they are of two types, minimum boiling and maximum boiling. So this statement is correct. Now the composition of the vapor phase is same as that of the liquid of an azeotropic mixture. Yes, this is one of the properties of an azeotrope, that they have the same composition in liquid phase as well as the vapor phase. So both statements are correct, but the reason is not the correct explanation of statement 1. So here the correct answer is option 2. Both are true, but not the correct explanation. Then in a reaction, A leads to the product formation. If the initial concentration is this, the half-life is found to be 120 minutes. If the initial concentration is 4.0, that is, it is halved, then the half-life of the reaction becomes 240 minutes. So what is the order of the reaction? Now remember that the half-life of a reaction is initial concentration of the reactant raised to the power 1 minus n, alright, where n is the order of the reaction. So initially concentration was 8, right, and the half-life is how much? 120 minutes. Then the concentration changes to 4.0 into 10 raised to minus 2. Now remember, this is 1 minus n, right, and the half-life is 240 minutes. So this is 1 upon 2, right? And this is 2. So 2 raised to the power 1 minus n is equal to 2 raised to the power minus 1. So n is equal to 2, right? Is that clear, guys? So this is a second order reaction, okay? Then the enthalpy of physics option is greater than chemies option? No. In physics option, weak van der Waals forces are involved, which are weak, right? In chemies option, strong chemical covalent or ionic bonds are involved. So this statement is incorrect. Molecule of adsorbate and adsorbent are held by van der Waals forces in physics option, yes, and by chemical bonds in chemies option. So this statement is correct. So the correct statement is this, right? Option 4 is the correct answer. Assertion is false, reason is true, right? Then the next question, potassium has a BCC structure with nearest neighbor distance 4.52 angstrom. Its atomic weight is 39, the density will be. So we all know that from solid state, the density is Z into M divided by A cube Na, right? Where Z is the rank, that is the number of particles per unit cell. So because it is BCC, so Z is going to be 2. Molar mass is 39, but the density has to be expressed in kilogram per meter cube. So let us convert it to kilogram by dividing by 1000, right? So the molar mass comes out to be 0.039, right? This is Avogadro number, we know 6.022 into 10 raised to the power 23. Now the only thing we have to figure out is the edge length of the unit cell, okay? What is given in this question is nearest neighbor distance. Nearest neighbor distance, right? This is nothing but the diameter, right? The nearest neighbor distance, I'll call it d. It is nothing but twice of the radii, that is the diameter of the two particles. Now in BCC, please remember the body diagonal, right? If I take this as the body diagonal, AB, which we know it is under root 3a, right? Now there is one particle at the corner, there is one particle at the corner, and there is one particle here. So it is also equal to 4r, right? It is also equal to 4r. So if I combine these two formula, d is equal to 2r, so I get 2d. Is that clear? Now you can solve, right, for a. Substitute the value of d, which is given to be 4.52 angstrom. In this equation, you will find out the value of a, the edge length, put it here, and you will find out the densities to be approximately 910, right? 1 angstrom is 10 raised to the power minus 10 meter, and that would be suitable because the density has to be calculated in meter cube. All right, so the correct answer would be approximately 910 kilogram per meter cube. Moving to the next question, the EMF of a Daniell cell at 298 Kelvin is E1 under this set of conditions. So we know here that this is the oxidation half cell and this is the reduction half cell, right? If you try to write the cell equation, then zinc is undergoing oxidation, copper is undergoing reduction. The initial concentration of copper is 1 molar and the initial concentration of zinc that we have taken is 0.01 molar, right? Plus copper is reduced. Now let us write the Nernst equation for this. Nernst equation would be E cell is equal to E naught cell minus 0.0591. The number of electrons in the equation is 2, right? Logarithm of the reaction quotient, which is basically products upon reactants, that is zinc upon copper, right? So I'll directly put the values. In this case, this is 0.01 divided by 1, that is log of 10 raised to the power minus 2, right? Log of 10 raised to the power minus 2. In the second case, when the concentration of zinc sulfate is 1 and that of copper sulfate is 0.01. So in the second case, guys, let us call it E cell prime, E naught cell will remain same, minus 0.0591 by 2 logarithm, again products upon reactants, but this time the concentration of zinc is 1 and that of copper is 10 raised to the power minus 2. So this log term is 10 raised to the power plus 2. Okay. Now because we are subtracting the logarithmic term from the standard cell potential, the resultant cell potential would be less, right? So as we move from first case to second case, the log increases and I am subtracting this, so E0 cell will decrease. So the correct answer to this question would be E1 will be greater than E2. Moving to the next question, a colloidal solution is subjected to an electric field. The particles move towards anode. Here the anode will be positively charged. So the colloid is negatively charged, so it needs cations for coagulation, right? Now we are given three cations, sodium, barium and aluminum, and from Hardy-Schulze rule we know that the flocculation power, the coagulation power of an ion is proportional to its charge, right? So it's very easy question. AlCl3 will have the maximum coagulation power and NaCl the least, okay? So that is the correct answer in this case. Most acidic oxide among the following is, the acidic strength of an oxide is directly proportional to the electronegativity of the central atom and directly proportional to the oxidation state of the central atom. If you go through here, arsenic, not so electronegative. Now out of nitrogen and phosphorus, of course nitrogen is more electronegative, right? Because in group 15 nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, okay? Now here the oxidation number of nitrogen is 5, here it is 4. So of course, which is going to be more acidic? N2O5. That is the correct answer here. Which of the following on thermal decomposition give oxygen gas, right? So the decomposition of less stable metal oxides is a very good source for the production of oxygen gas, and they are unstable oxides, right? So when you heat silver oxide, it produces silver and oxygen gas. I'm not balancing the equation, right? That you can do easily. If you heat this, decomposes to this, right? +2 is more stable than +4, state for light because of inert pair effect, and here also it will give you PbO plus O2. So the correct answer is all of these, okay? In this question you have to find out the incorrect order as per the property indicated. Dissociation energy, yes, HF, HCl, HBr, HI, correct, right? Shorter the bond length, greater the bond dissociation energy. Acidic character, you can see that they all are oxides of chlorine. As I said a few minutes ago, the acidic strength of oxide is proportional to the oxidation number of the central atom. Yes, here the oxidation number is +7, right? Here it is +6, here it is +4, and here it is +1. So you can check the oxidation number because they are in decreasing order, so the acidic strength will also decrease. SbCl3 and SbCl5, which is more covalent? Of course SbCl5, because greater the charge on cation, greater will be the polarizing power of the cation, right? So this case, this order is incorrect. SbCl5 will have more covalent character, right? MCl, MbR, ionic character, yes, chlorides will have more ionic character because of the smaller size of chloride ion compared to bromide ion. So in this case, the only incorrect order is third. Moving to the next question, which is a planar molecule. You can easily find out the structure using steric number, right, for a molecule. So XeO4 is tetrahedral molecule. XeF4, in fact, it is planar. Molecular geometry is octahedral, but there are two lone pairs. So the molecular shape is said to be planar. So this is the correct answer. XeOF4 is square pyramidal. There is a lone pair like that. You can put oxygen here, and because of lone pair bond pair repulsion, these bonds are slightly bent. So this is XeOF4, right? XeO2F2, it's seesaw, right? Lone pairs always occupy equatorial position in trigonal bipyramidal geometry, and more electronegative atoms occupy eggshell position. So this is the structure of XeO2F2. So the planar molecule we have here is XeF4. That is the correct answer. This is a question from D block elements, transition elements in the form of dichromate. Cr6 is a strong oxidizing agent in acidic medium. Yes, we know that. But molybdenum and tungsten, they are not, right? Then you should remember that they come under same group, right? So we have chromium, then we have molybdenum, and then we have tungsten. Then remember guys, as we move down the group in D block elements, right, the stability of higher oxidation states, it increases, That means the stability of higher oxidation states, it is more for heavier members of the transition elements, right? So chromium 6 is more stable than molybdenum 6 and tungsten? Of course not, because if it were stable, it would not act as oxidizing agent, right? So this statement is incorrect. Molybdenum 6 and tungsten 6 are more stable? Yes, of course. The higher oxidation states are more stable. Yes, that is what we just said. Lower oxidation states are more stable? No, of course, it is contradicts third, right? So the correct answer is second and third, right? Moving to the next question, cuprous ion has unpaired electrons, whereas cupric ion does not. Okay, let's see. So the electronic configuration of copper is 3d10 4s1. So cuprous meaning 1 electron lost, so it is 3d10 completely filled d subshell, there is no unpaired electron, so you don't have to see the rest. This statement is wrong, right? Cuprous ion is colorless, yes, because it does not have any unpaired electron, this will be colorless, right? It is expected to be colorless, there are no dd transitions possible here. In cupric ion, if you remove 2 electrons, then we are left with 3d9 4s0. So yes, 9 is an odd number, there is an unpaired electron, so it is expected to be colored, and we all know from general chemistry that copper 2 plus ion in solution, it is blue, right? So this is correct. So assertion is false, reason is true, right? Titanium 3 plus is colored while scandium 3 plus is colorless. Again, look for the possibility of dd transitions. Titanium is 3d2 4s2. So 3 plus meaning 3 electrons are removed and only 1 electron is left. So yes, dd transitions are possible and we expect this species to be colored. Scandium is the first element in 3d series, right? So scandium actually it is 3d1 and 4s2. So if you remove all the 3 electrons, then you don't have any electrons left in the d subshell, right? So there are no dd transition possible. Yes, scandium 3 plus is colorless. Correct. dd transition is not possible in scandium 3 plus. Yes. So in this case, the statement 1, the option 1 is the correct answer. They both are correct, and the second statement is a correct explanation of the first statement. Match the columns. You can see halogen and ultraviolet. So what reaction it would be? It would be free radical substitution. Aniline, right? It's being replaced by chlorine via diazonium salt formation. So this is Sandmeyer's reaction. It matches with this. You are taking a haloalkane and reacting with NaI, right? So the halogen exchange, this is specifically Finkelstein reaction, all right? And then if you use AgF, so basically the halogen exchange for fluoride, then that is called Swartz reaction. So the correct answer is this, a simple question based on the matching of reactions. Which of the following is most acidic? Then remember guys, phenols are more acidic than alcohols, because in case of phenol, the conjugate base phenoxide is resonance stabilized, right? This is resonance stabilized like this, but in case of an alcohol, the conjugate base, that is alkoxide, is not resonance stabilized. So most acidic benzyl alcohol, that is PHCH2H, this is an alcohol. Cyclohexanol, this is cyclohexanol. Phenol, PHOH, right? So of course these are not, they cannot be the most acidic ones, right? Metachlorophenol, that means you have a halogen which will exert minus I effect, right? So here we have minus I effect of chlorine, which will slightly increase the acidity of phenol. So phenol is the most acidic, right? Then the structure of the compound whose IUPAC name is this. So the best way is you yourself draw the structure and then check it matches with which of the options. The word root is hex, so there are 6 carbon atoms, right? Then 3 ethyl, so we have ethyl here, 2 hydroxy, we have OH here, 4 methyl, so we have CH3 here, hex, 3 ene, so 1, 2, 3, 3 ene, 5 ine, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And oic acid, so basically this is, okay, complete the tetravalency of all carbon atoms here, right? Now you check, for example, let's take the first option, carboxylic, CHOH, right? And then carbon, and then CH2, CH3, and then a double bond, a vinyl group, right? and then there is a methyl substituent, and there is this C triple bond CH. Yes, that is the correct answer, right? So fortunately we got the first option as the correct answer. Then ethanoic acid cannot be obtained by which of the following reactions? If you treat with KCN, it's a nucleophilic substitution reaction. So CH3, CH2, Cl will be replaced by cyanide, and on hydrolysis it gives COH. So no, we are not getting ethanoic, we are getting propanoic acid. AgCN, it has covalent character, so carbon is not free to attack, so actually nitrogen attacks. So you will get CH3NC, and if you carry out the hydrolysis, it actually gives you amine, right, and the formic acid. So this cannot be the correct answer. So these two are ruled out. In this case, yes, if you treat an alkene with KMnO4 at high temperature in acidic medium, the double bond cleaves, right, and both the carbon atom, they are oxidized to carboxylic group. So yes, CH3COH. All right, we are getting ethanoic acid here. Then CH3Br Mg, so this is the preparation of Grignard reagent, CH3MgBr, which are nucleophilic in nature. So when we react with carbon dioxide, which is a weak electrophile, so it attacks, right? So we are getting CH3, C double bond O, and then O minus, and if you further react it with water, so yes, it gives you ethanoic acid, right? So yes, third and fourth, they are forming, right? Cannot be obtained, so the cannot be obtained would be first and second. Third and fourth are giving, the question is cannot be obtained, right? So first and second is the correct answer. Then which of the following amines can be prepared by Gabriel method? So Gabriel synthesis is for aliphatic amines, right? And because it generally follows SN2 mechanism, so tertiary amines will not react. That is the simple logic in this question. So this, yes, we can prepare primary aliphatic. This, yes, secondary aliphatic we can prepare. This is tertiary, not possible. This is aromatic amine, it is not possible, right? So in this case, first and second, they can be prepared by Gabriel thalamide synthesis, right? Which of the following statement is false? Artificial silk is derived from cellulose, yes. Nylon 6,6, they are fibers, nylons are fibers, right? So this is an incorrect one. Monomer in natural rubber is isoprene, absolutely. Starch and cellulose are polymers of glucose, yes. So this is the correct answer. At isoelectric point, the amino group does not migrate under the influence of electric field, yes, because at isoelectric point, the positive charge is equal to the negative charge. But it does not mean that only at isoelectric point amino acid exists as Zwitter ion, right? So a little above the isoelectric point pi and little below the pi, amino acid exists as Zwitter ion, but not 50-50 exactly, right? So this statement is incorrect. So assertion is true, but reason is false. All right. Next one is convulsion is caused by the deficiency of vitamin Bx. So this is of course memory based. So that is vitamin B6, right? Then how many of the following oxidizing reactions of KMnO4 they occur in acidic medium? Ferrous is oxidized to ferric. Yes, absolutely. KMnO4 can do that. Iodide is converted to iodate. No, that happens in neutral or slightly alkaline medium. In acidic medium, iodide is oxidized to iodine. So this is not possible, right? Thiosulfate oxidized to sulfate. Now there is a twist, little bit of here. So in acidic medium, thiosulfate is oxidized to sulfur and sulfate, right? So the sulfur is also formed. If you talk about neutral or slightly alkaline medium, then yes, both the sulfur atom, they are oxidized to sulfate. So I would take that as no, right? Yes, okay. Thiosulfate is oxidized to sulfate, no. Nitrite is oxidized to nitrate, yes. Nitrite is oxidized to nitrate. That is possible through KMnO4. So how many of the reactions can be accomplished? 2 reactions, right? First and fourth. All right. Then the electrical properties and the respective SI units are given below. The correctly matched pairs. A specific conductance, yes. It is conductivity by length, so Siemens meter inverse, true. Conductance, yes, capital G, so it's Siemens. And then equivalent conductance, yes, defined for 1 gram equivalent, Siemens meter square gram equivalent. Cell constant, length by area, that is length by length square. So that is length inverse, not meter. It is going to be meter inverse. So this is incorrect. So how many of them are correct? 3. Alright. Then energies of activation for forward and reverse reactions, they are 180 and 200. So remember guys, in any chemical reaction, the enthalpy changes activation energy for the forward reaction minus activation energy for the backward reaction. A catalyst does not affect enthalpy change because it's a thermodynamic property. Catalyst does affect activation energy, but because the difference between them is enthalpy change, that will remain unaffected. So forward activation energy is 180 minus reverse is 200. So enthalpy change is minus 20. They have asked the magnitude, so magnitude will be 20. All right. A compound has cubic close packed structure. Its unit cell is given. The empirical formula of the compound is MaXB, then the value of A plus B. All right. So let's determine M is this, X is the circle, right? So M is present where? At the edge center, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So 4 edge centers, and we know the contribution of edge center is 1 by 4. It is shared with 4 unit cells. This one is at the body center, so complete 1. So yes, this is 1 plus 1, 2. There are 2 particles of M per unit cell. Then let's go to X. X occupies corners 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 into 1 by 8. The contribution of the corner particle in a cubic unit cell, it is 1 by 8, right? Then it is also present at face centers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So there are 6 face centers, and a face centered particle is shared with 2 unit cells. So contribution is half. So this is 4. All right. So it is M2X4, right? But remember, we never write the multiples, we write the simplest one. So 2 can be taken out as common. So the compound would be written more appropriately as MX2, right? So the value of A plus B, that is the coefficients, is 1 plus 2, that is 3, right? So yeah, that is 3. Then the total number of possible coordination isomers for the complex compound, there are 4 isomers guys. One, the molecule itself, right? One, if you swap all the 4 ligands, right, that is Cl4, right? In that case, it will be the anion, remember that, right? And the cation would be for this Pt and then NH3, 4 and then 2 plus, right? So if I swap all the 4 ligands, then PTNH3, 4, 2 plus and CuCl4, 2 minus. So that will be the second molecule, right? Now you can swap 1, right? If you swap 2, that will be a neutral coordination entity. So it will not form a compound, right? If I swap 2, then copper, NH3 twice, Cl twice, it is a neutral coordination entity. So it will not be an isomer, right? So if you swap 1 ammonia with 1 chloride or 3 ammonia with 3 chloride, right, that will also be another, right? So 3 and 4 will be, if you replace 1 ligand, right, and if you replace 3 ligands, right? So in total there are 4 isomers possible, okay? Then vapor pressure of benzene at 30 degrees Celsius is 121.8. When 15 gram of non-volatile solid is dissolved into 50 gram of benzene, the vapor pressure decreases to 120.2, the molecular weight of the solid. Because we are given the solution is dilute, so what is the formula for the relative lowering of vapor pressure? It is P1 naught minus P1 divided by P1 naught, right? Where P1 naught is a vapor pressure of pure liquid, pure solvent, and P1 is the vapor pressure of the solvent in the solution, right? This is, if you are considering the solution as dilute, so this is W2 by M2, W1 by M1. 2 is for non-volatile solute, 1 is for solvent. W is the mass, M is the molar mass, right? So I'll substitute the values for you, then you can do the calculation yourself. So vapor pressure of pure benzene is 121.8. The vapor pressure of the solution is 120.2 divided by pure vapor pressure, which is 121.8. W2, mass of the non-volatile solute, which is 15 gram. Molar mass we have to calculate, I think, right? Yes. mass of the benzene, which is 250 gram of benzene, and the molar mass of benzene is 78, right? So now you can easily solve this equation for M2. You will find the answer to be around 356. Find out the number of alcohols that gives positive iodoform test. So remember guys, positive iodoform test is given by those alcohol which contain this moiety. If an alcohol contains this moiety, then it will give positive iodoform test. Now it becomes easy, right? Here it is, right? This is actually O, then here it is. Then interestingly, ethanol also gives, right? Because ethanol can be written as like this, right? So it also has this moiety and then this. So there are total of 4 alcohols which will respond to the iodoform test, right? In a set of the given reaction, acetic acid yielded a product. So if you react acetic acid with PCl5, so that gives you CH3, COCl, right? Acid chloride, acyl chloride. If you react it with benzene in presence of anhydrous AlCl3, which is a Lewis acid catalyst, so this is going to be a Friedel-Crafts acylation reaction, and benzene will then be converted to C double bond O and then CH3. And if you subsequently react it with Grignard reagent, then remember that ketones give tertiary alcohols with Grignard reagents, right? So C2H5 MgBr can be rewritten as this, right? So this will attack here, right? That pi bond will break, and followed by hydrolysis, the molecule that we will get is right. So now I think you can do the product of product C contains number of carbon atoms as X, okay? Carbon atoms are 6, then 7, 8, 9, 10. So X is 10. Number of hydrogen atoms is Y. 5 atoms of hydrogen are there on the benzene. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, right? So Y is 14. So 14 minus 10 divided by 2, that is of course 2. Identify how many of the following compounds are more basic than aniline. Then remember, amides are less basic because the lone pair is involved in resonance with the oxygen, the carbonyl oxygen. It is less basic, amides are less basic. It is an electron withdrawing group, so basicity decreases. Aliphatic amines are more basic than aniline. Why? Because in aniline, the lone pair is involved in conjugation with the ring, so it is the electron density on nitrogen atom is less, right? Here, this is not the case. The electron pair is fully available. So aliphatic amines are more basic. So this is 1, right? These are guanidines, right? They are very, very basic because if this is protonated anyhow, then it will be stabilized through resonance, right? Similarly, this, if you protonate this, then this resonance will occur like this from that side also, right? So compound number 2, 3, they are one of the most basic compounds in organic chemistry, right? Then chlorine is electron withdrawing group. It will decrease basicity, right? Because for halogens, the inductive effect dominates over resonance. Here OCH3, yes, it has positive resonance effect. It will donate electrons. So this is my compound 4, right? OCH3. And then cyclohexylamine, right? So yes, you can call it more basic than aniline because it is an aliphatic amine. Here the aldehyde group is electron withdrawing. So this is again less basic. So this is 4 and this is 5. Alright, so there are 5 compounds which are more basic than aniline, right? So that's all in this video. Thank you for watching.
Hi dear students, welcome to Infinity Learn by Sri Chaitanya. Now let us see the solutions of the question paper related to math part GTM 1. Okay, right. In this, of course, like JEE main, we are having 30 questions here. So 20 single correct answer type questions, and there will be 10 numerical answer type of questions, of which we need to answer 5. Of course, I am going to give explanation for all the 30 questions, right. Coming to the first question, you see f of x is given by x square plus integral 0 to x e power minus t into f of x minus t dt. and also given f of 0 is 0, we need to find step of f of 3, my dear friends. Before that, you just take this function f of x is this integral. Of course, as the limit is variable, we just try to generally tempt to take the derivative of this to apply Leibniz formula. But one important observation in this problem is x is the variable, the same x is also available inside. So, you cannot directly apply Leibniz formula. So, my dear friends, what you need to do is f of x is equal to x square. You just apply the King's formula, basic property of definite integral. You can write integral 0 to x, t can be replaced by a plus b minus x, that is x minus t you can write, so that e power minus of x minus t, t can be replaced by x minus t into f of x minus t will become f of t dt. So, friends, this is x square plus, you see, e power minus x into e power t you can write, e power minus x is independent of t. So, you can just bring e power minus x out, integral 0 to x e power t into f of t dt. So, you can treat f of x as this particular function, my dear friends. Since the limit is in x, you can, it is also a function of x. Now, my dear friends, you just see f of 0 is 0, undoubtedly f of 0 is 0 because this is 0, this is integral 0 to 0. Now, you just try to take the derivative by Leibniz formula. Here f dash x is going to be, my dear friends, x square derivative is 2x, it is like product u into v. So, u into derivative of v, its derivative by Leibniz formula, it becomes e power x into f of x, x derivative 1 remaining part 0, u derivative of v plus v, that is integral 0 to x e power t f of t dt, v into derivative of u, e power minus x derivative is, you can say e power minus x into x derivative is minus 1. This is the point, my dear friends, these two get cancelled. So, and you can also observe, my dear friends, this is f dash x is nothing but 2x plus f of x minus e power minus x into, you can say integral 0 to x t f of t. You just see here e power minus x into integral 0 to x t f of dt. This part is nothing but f of x minus x square. So, in this place you can write f of x minus x square, my dear friends. So, that this f of x and this gets cancelled, f dash x is going to be 2x plus x square. Yes, once you know f dash x, we just need f of x, my dear friends. Now, you just take f of x is going to be x square plus x cube by 3 plus integration constant is c. But given f of 0 is 0, so f of x is finally c becomes 0, x square plus x cube by 3. This is f of x. Now, you can just find f of 3, my dear friends. This is going to be 18. So, step of 18 is 18 itself. So, option 2 is the right answer. Right, friends? In this problem, the main important point is before you apply Leibniz formula, try to bring x terms outside. Now, you can comfortably do Leibniz formula while taking the derivative of the integral. That is it. Next, my dear friends, you see this question, tan inverse of sin x plus 1 and cos x is here, it is in terms of sin and cos. Of course, cos square x we can write in terms of sin square x. Since cos x is there, the clue is sin x can be t. Moreover, you just see the denominator, this is like 3 plus 2 sin x minus cos square x is 1 minus sin square x. So, that this becomes 2 plus 2 sin x plus sin square x, which is, friends, sin x plus 1 whole square plus 1. So, here also sin x plus 1 is there, sin x plus 1 whole square is there, in the options also sin x plus 1 is there. So, better you take sin x plus 1 as t in this problem. So, that, friend, this becomes tan inverse t, this becomes cos x dx will become dt by, you can say, 1 plus t square. Now friends, if you take tan inverse t as alpha, 1 by 1 plus t square dt will become d alpha. This is integral alpha d alpha, where alpha is tan inverse t. Now alpha integral is alpha square by 2. Alpha means tan inverse of t means sin x plus 1, okay, whole square by 2 plus c is the definite integral. So friend, this is tan inverse of sin x plus 1 whole square by 2. That's all. This is the answer, right? Next, my dear friends, you see this differential equation. The solution of this particular differential equation is, here what you can do is, here y dy is there, 1 minus y square is there. So what we are going to do here is, my dear friends, you just say, you just divide with x cube as well as 1 minus y square whole square. So that this becomes 2y by 1 minus y square whole square dy plus, as we have divided with whole square, this becomes x square y square minus of 1 minus y square by 1 minus y square into x cube dx is equal to 0. So even you can write with dx, so that this becomes 2y by 1 minus y square whole square into dy by dx plus, my dear friends, if you just separate here, you are going to get 1 minus 1 by x cube. So you can write 1 by x cube. Here it becomes y square by 1 minus y square into 1 by x. So my dear friends, you just take y square by 1 minus y square as some u, so that its derivative will be, if you just take the derivative, you will get 2y by 1 minus y square whole square into dy by dx. This becomes du by dx plus 1 by x into u is equal to 1 by x cube, which is LDE, linear differential equation in u and x. So integrating factor is, my dear friends, e power integral p dx, which is e power log x, so which becomes x, my dear friends. So the general solution, let me write here, x into, here u into integrating factor x is equal to integral of integrating factor into this, which is 1 by x square dx, which is minus 2 by x cube, my dear friends. You just substitute plus c you need to write. So u into x, u is going to be y square by 1 minus y square into x is equal to 1 by x square integral is minus 2 by x cube plus c, my dear friends. So yeah, you can say, now you just simplify this, you are going to get the option like option number 3, that's all. So first step is, you need to align the equation, convert into LDE, you find the integrating factor. So this is x is the integrating factor, u into x, that is y square x by 1 minus y square. You just multiply, you will get c into 1 minus y square into this, and just simplify, my dear friends, you are going to get the answer. Okay, just see the calculation part. Next, my dear friends, the sum of n terms of the series, you can say this is the one. You just observe the pattern here, 1 by 3, 1 by 3 square, 1 by 3 cube, which is a GP, whereas 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4 we can decode, 5, 7, 9 numerators, these are in AP with first term 5, common difference 2. So friends, I can write this is nth term of 5, 7, 9 is 2n plus 3 by n into n plus 1 into 1 by 3 power n is going to be the nth term, my dear friends. Here you can separate it like partial fractions, some number by n plus some number by n plus 1. If you could split, you put n is equal to 0, you will get 3 here, put n is minus 1, 1 by minus 1 is minus 1 into 1 by 3 power n. So friend, this becomes you can say 1 by n into 1 by 3 power n minus 1 minus 1 by n plus 1 into 3 power n. You see friends, it is like f of n minus f of n plus 1 kind of this is. Now we have to find the sum up to n terms. That means T1 is nothing but friends like f of 1 minus f of 2, where f of x, suppose this is this, plus T2 is f of 2 minus f of 3 plus T3 is f of 3 minus f of 4 and so on. Tn is f of n minus f of n plus 1. You can observe these brackets. So now this is what we call method of differences. So these two get cancelled, these two get cancelled. After all the cancellations, you are left with, my dear friends, f of 1 minus f of n plus 1. What is f of 1, my dear friends? If you put n is equal to 1 here, you are going to get 1 minus f plus 1 means 1 by n plus 1 into 3 power n. First option is the right answer. Friends, just identify the nth term, try to split as f of r minus f of r plus 1. Now, if you could split like f of r minus f of r plus 1 or r minus 1, if you just apply the summation, after cancellation you will be left with only 2 terms, right. Next, you see this question friends, the differential equation of all the family of lines which are at the unit distance from the origin. And here the perpendicular distance from origin is 1 means, why don't you take in normal form? You just take x cos alpha plus y sin alpha is equal to p, that p is going to be 1, my dear friends. So where alpha is the parameter, alpha may vary from 0 to 2 pi, but 1 is constant. That means in this the parameter is alpha. This represents family of lines which are at a unit distance from origin, my dear friends. Okay. Now we have to find its differential equation. Since there is only one parameter, the order of the differential equation is 1. What you can do is, let it be equation 1, you just take its derivative. Cos alpha is a number, I am taking derivative with respect to x, plus sin alpha is into y derivative is y dash is equal to 0. So friends, from these two you need to eliminate alpha, equation 2. How to eliminate alpha, my dear friends? From this you substitute one cos alpha here, you write cos alpha sin alpha in terms of x, y, y dash and apply cos square alpha plus sin square alpha is equal to 1. You will get a relation. Alpha can be eliminated. For example, here, my dear friends, cos alpha is nothing but, you can say, or you can also write like cos alpha is minus sin alpha into y dash. If you could just replace this here, my dear friends, so you can also take sin alpha common, so that you will get minus x y dash plus y sin alpha into this is equal to 1. So sin alpha, friends, this is 1 by y minus x y dash. So this is sin alpha, my dear friends. Okay. So cos alpha I want similarly. So you can just write cos alpha is minus sin alpha into y dash. So cos alpha is going to be minus y dash by y minus x y dash. So you just apply sin square alpha plus cos square alpha is equal to 1, alpha is eliminated, you will get a condition in terms of x and y alone, my dear friends. So 1 plus y dash square is equal to, you can say y minus x y dash whole square. You can easily add this denominator square, y minus x y dash square is equal to 1 plus y dash square. This is the answer. This is the answer. That's it, simple. Next, friends, you see this question. Yeah, in this question, of course, by figure it is touching x axis. I wish in the problem also he has to mention that the smaller circle has to touch this particular x axis. Otherwise, just by seeing the diagram we cannot confirm that the circle is touching x axis. So friends, the given figure equation of the larger circle, what is its center, friends? The center is going to be 0 comma minus 2 and radius is going to be 3. Radius of this larger circle is 3. Now the distance between the two centers is 4 means the radius of smaller circle is 1. Now suppose this C2 circle center is h comma k, undoubtedly this is h, this is k, this is in first quadrant, so k is going to be 1, my dear friends. So you can take this point as h comma 1. Given that distance between these two centers is 4, you can also write h minus 0 whole square plus k is already 1, 1 plus 2 whole square, under root is 4 and hence it is 16, my dear friends. H square, this is 4 square minus 9, 16 minus 9 is 7, h is going to be plus or minus root 7. But the circle is in first quadrant, so I can say, my dear friends, h is going to be root 7. So I got the center of this circle as root 7 comma 1, whereas the radius is already 1, so I can go with this particular option, my dear friends. Simple. Next, the value of the parameter a is such that the area bounded by y is this quadratic coordinate axis and x is equal to 1. Friends, one simple point is this is the parabola, right? That too upper parabola, because x square quotient is positive. You just find its delta, my dear friends, b square minus 4ac, which is minus 3a square negative. That means the graph of this quadratic, that parabola, must be completely above x axis. Yes. Now I just want the value of the parameter a such that the area bounded by this parabola and coordinate axis, suppose this is x axis, y axis, and the line x is equal to 1. So that means I want this area, my dear friends. So since the curve is above x axis, integral 0 to 1, because this is x is 0, x is 1. The curve equation y is ax square plus ax plus 1, yeah, into dx, that is all, which is ax cube by 3 plus ax square by 2 plus x between the limits 0 to 1 is the area which is given as, yeah, it takes least value. So I can say, my dear friends, this is going to be, I can say a into, this is sorry, a square it is. So you can take a square into x cube by 3 put. So this is going to be a square by 3 plus a by 2 plus 1 minus 0, which is a quadratic expression, my dear friends. So this can be written like, so this is 2a square plus, you can write here 3a plus 1 by 6 is the area in terms of a. But he is asking the value of a for which the area takes least value. A quadratic expression takes least value at minus b by 2a. Minus b is minus a quotient by 2a is 2. At minus 3 by 4 it takes the least value, my dear friends. Simple it is. The graph is above x axis, find the area, which is this expression. This is minimum. Quadratic expression is minimum when x value is minus b by 2a, right. The next, my dear friends, this question. The area included between the two parabolae, right, is 16 by 3 where AB are positive. Then I have already in earlier class also I have given the shortcut. This can be expressed as quadratic in, you see, y, you see, x is equal to y square by 4a minus a, am I correct? Second one is x is equal to, you see, this is y square by 4b is equal to b minus x. So x is equal to b minus, another one is, yeah, minus 1 by 4b into y square plus b, my dear friends, plus b. This is the second parabola. So quadratic, x in terms of quadratic, y in terms of quadratic. Am I correct, friends? X is b minus y square by 4b. Now what is the shortcut? Subtract these two equations, friends. 1 by 4a plus 1 by 4b into y square, this minus this, minus of a plus b, this is the one. So in this case I have given a shortcut. So write the first curve, so when both are quadratic, no restrictions, x in terms of quadratic of y, here x, in terms of y quadratic, subtract these two, compare this with ax square plus bx plus c. Shortcut is find delta b square minus 4ac. Final answer is delta power 3 by 2 by 6a square. This is the shortcut. So, here what is b square, my dear friends? In this case, b square minus 4, a is this, c is minus of a plus b. So, I can say finally 4 into, you can say, my dear friends, 4a plus 4b, that is 4 times a plus b by 16ab into a plus b. This is delta, my dear friends. So, this is 16 into a plus b whole square by 16ab, right. I can say this is 4 times a plus b by 16ab, or else you can write a plus b by 4ab. You can take out one 4 here, my dear friends, yeah, into a plus b. So, I can say here delta is going to be b square minus 1 4 is there, no, that 4 is this, another 4 you can cancel. So, that a plus b by ab, my dear friends. Now, another a plus b you can say here, let me, yeah. So, friends, here this calculation you do carefully, so that you will not be misleaded or there will not be any calculation errors. You see, b square is, my dear friends, 0 minus 4 times a is 1 by 4 into, you can say, a plus b by ab, right. C is nothing but minus of a plus b. So, here you will get square. So, my dear friends, finally it is going to be a plus b whole square by ab. Now, delta power 3 by 2 by 6a square, you just calculate, this is delta, delta power 3 by 2 will become a plus b into root of a plus b by, this is ab into root ab by 6a square you are going to get. 6a square means by 6 into 1 by 4 whole square will become 1 by 16, this is also 1 by a plus 1 by b, a plus b by ab whole square you are going to get. This is given as 16 by 3, my dear friends, 16 by 3. From this you will get the result that a plus b by 2, you see you will get 2 here, into root ab is going to be 1. So, I can say am and gm are reciprocals of each other. So, second option will be the right answer. Very simple, friends. So, here you just write both as quadratic in y, subtract, apply the shortcut delta, because first you find delta, delta power 3 by 2 by 6a square is the shortcut. I have applied, I will finally, if this is equated to 16 by 3, you are going to get this result, that is all. Next, my dear friends, this question you just see 3 plus x square, you see in all the options e power x square is there, 3 power x square is there. Mostly you have to recall whether it is like e power x into f of x plus f dash x model, you need to doubt on that. So, 3 plus x square is there. So, we take x square as t, so the 2x dx will become dt. 2x I can take common here but not here. So, what I do is, friends, here I just write 1 by 2 integral e power x square into, you just multiply, this becomes 4x plus 2x cube by 3 plus x square whole square into dx. Now, friends, if you take e square x square as t, e power t into 2x dx will become dt, this becomes 2 plus x square is already called t by 3 plus t whole square, this is dt, my dear friends, because I have chosen x square as t. If I choose x square as t, this is the situation. Now, can we split it like half integral e power t into 3 plus t minus 1, you write 3 plus t by 3 plus t square will become 1 by 3 plus t minus 1 by 3 plus t whole square dt. You see, e power x into f of x plus f dash x. So, e power x f of x is the answer. E power t into 1 by 3 plus t plus c. You just replace t is equal to x square. 1 by 2 into x square, e power x square into 3 power x square. That is all. So, this is an important model. Integral e power x into f of x plus f dash x is e power f of x. Let me write for you, my dear friends. Integral e power x into f of x plus f dash x dx is going to be e power x f of x plus c. Okay. Next, my dear friends, you see this question, the point minus 2m comma m plus 1 is an interior point of the smaller region bounded by this circle is standard, my dear friends, center 0 0 radius 2, and the parabola y square is equal to 4x is a standard parabola. So, our point, this particular point must lie interior of both the regions. Are here S11 negative for both the curves. Why don't you apply that? You see this point S11 negative, S11 means first one, if you apply S11 negative, you will get minus 2m whole square plus m plus 1 whole square minus 4 less than 0. You will get one quadratic inequation. You can write this is 4m square plus m square, 5m square plus 2m plus 1 minus 4 is minus 3 less than 0. Clearly minus 1 is a root here. So, m plus 1 into maybe 5m minus 3 is negative. So, m belongs to minus 1 to 3 by 5. In the same way friends, this point lies interior of this parabola. So, S11 negative y square means m plus 1 whole square minus 4 into minus 2m will become plus 2m is negative. You will get another equation y square plus 8 plus 2 10m plus 1 negative. Here the roots will be bit irrational, you will get like this. You take the common region, my dear friends, you can solve this. So, this is one interval, you will get second interval, you just take the common one, you can identify first option is the answer. Just solving two inequations. A point lies interior of a standard curve is S11 negative. Standard curve means for circle, parabola, ellipse, but not for hyperbola, right? For hyperbola S11 greater than 0, you know, my dear friends. Next, a 5-digit number having all the different digits is formed using the digits 1 to 9. Okay, the probability that the formed number either begins or ends with an odd digit is equal to. Are how many 5-digit numbers can be formed with this? With all digits different? 5 places are to be filled, right? So, 5 places are to be filled. You can write, you can fill in generally 9 ways, 8 ways, 7 ways, 6 ways, 5 ways. In fact, 9p5. So, 9p5 or 9 into 8 into 7 into 6 into 5, total number of ways. Now, I want that case where the number either begins with odd digit or ends with odd digit. You see, odd digits, there are 5 odd digits. How many begin with odd digit? If you here odd digit can be filled in 5 ways, one digit is gone, now 8 are left, they can be filled in 8, 7, 6, 5 ways. So, that is 5 into, we can say 8p4 or 8 into 7 into 6 into 5. These many numbers will be there where first digit is odd, or the last digit odd can also be. This can be odd in 5 ways, the remaining 8 digit can be filled in 8, 7, 6, 5 ways. So, you can write same 5 into 8 into 7 into 6 into 5. But my dear friend, there are certain numbers we have counted twice. So, for example, like 3, 1, 7, 8, 9, 7. This number is okay, otherwise say 5. This number is counted in first category, second category. There are 2 such candidates. So, you have to remove such cases. How many such will be there which begin with odd number, end with odd number? Generally begin with odd number 5 ways, end with odd number 4 ways. That means these two can be filled in 20 ways in fact, or else 5C2 is 10, select 2 odd numbers either AB or BA. Now, you are left with 7 digits in your hand, 2 are done. So, here these can be filled in 7 into 8 into 6 ways. So, this is 5 into 4 into 7 into 8 into 6, my dear friends. In all these 7 into, we can say 7 into 6 into 5, sorry, 7 into 6 into 5. 7, 6, 5 can be cancelled in all the numbers. The rest of the calculation you can do 40 plus 40, that is 80, 80 minus 20, which is 60 by 72. You can just simplify, my dear friends. So, 5 by 6 is the probability, 12 table you can cancel with, okay, that is it. Next question, the complex number 1 plus I is rotated through an angle 3 pi by 2. Are yaar, any complex number is rotated through origin, about origin in anti-clockwise direction. Suppose if this is the complex number z, if you want to rotate by an angle theta, what you can do is just multiply with, if you want to rotate by an angle theta, multiply with e power I theta, so that it rotates in anti-clockwise direction by theta angle, and you need to, you see, stretch it by additional root 2 units. So, friends, its magnitude is already root 2, so new magnitude must be 2 root 2. What you have to do is 1 plus I is the given original number, you need to rotate by 3 pi by 2 angle. So, e power I 3 pi by 2 you multiply. Now, this is just having the same magnitude, its magnitude is already root 2, my dear friends. So, I want its magnitude to be root 2 to be stretched, 2 root 2. So, this is root 2 means you divide with its unit vector, means you have to divide with its magnitude root 2. Now, its magnitude is 1 and multiply with 2 root 2. Finally, 2 root 2 gets cancelled, 2 times 1 plus I into e power I 3 pi by 2 means cos 3 pi by 2 plus I sin 3 pi by 2, which is minus I in fact, my dear friends, which is, so cos pi by 2 3 pi by 2 is 0 and sin of 3 pi by 2, right, minus 1. So, minus I, right, yeah. So, you just multiply, you are going to get the answer accordingly. 2 into this is minus I plus 1, which is 1 minus I into 2, fourth option is the right answer, okay. Next, friends, you see this complex numbers related locus of z if argument of z minus of 1 plus I is 3 pi by 4. So, same condition is given, you see mod z less than mod z minus 2, this is simple here. What is the meaning of this? Mod z, suppose z is x plus iy, mod z means root of x square plus y square less than root of x minus 2 whole square plus y square. If you just simplify, my dear friends, root gets cancelled, y square gets cancelled, x square minus of x minus 2 whole square less than 0. So, a plus b will become 2x minus 2 into a minus b negative, which is x minus 1 negative, that means x less than 1. So, the first condition is equivalent to say x less than 1. This means if x less than 1, this is the condition, this means x greater than 1. Argument of z minus of 1 plus I means, my dear friends, this point is 1 comma 1, say 1 1. I want to take those points for x less than 1, for all these x values, argument of the required point and this point should be 3 pi by 4. So, my dear friends, you just take a line here, these points, you see if it makes an angle pi by 4, if you just continue here, suppose if you take this angle is pi by 4, this is 3 pi by 4, argument means from positive axis we have to take for all these points. So, I can say, my dear friends, this gives this particular line, this line, okay. You can take all these points. Similarly, when x greater than 1, argument must be maintained pi by 4. For all these points, my dear friends, these points, you see argument must be minus pi by 4, am I correct? Because this point is here, this point should be taken. This to this argument we can say like minus pi by 4 only, because we can say this is the argument it is going to be followed, minus pi by 4. So, this part it is going to give this ray. So, but When z is 1 comma 1 exactly, argument of 0 comma 0 is not defined. So, this gives complete straight line except this point. So, I cannot say straight line, I can say set of two rays. Line segment is wrong, line is wrong, line is wrong. It is set of two rays, my dear friends. Okay, fine. Next, with inclination you can say 3 pi by 4. Of course, since the slope is going to be minus 1, so undoubtedly this point is going to be 2 comma 0, this is 0 comma 2. So, this statement seems to be correct, but it is not a straight line except one point. Okay, right. Next, P and Q are two distinct points on the circle which has center at 4 comma 3. Right, you just take a circle, center is at 4 comma 3, okay, and which passes through origin. Okay, origin is here 0 comma 0. Now, OC is perpendicular to both the line segments CP and CQ. So, OC, okay, CP and CQ, alright, perpendicular, fine. Now, then the set of points PQ. You see, my dear friend, this distance is 5, radius of this circle is 5. So, slope of this is 3 by 4, 3 by 4. So, the perpendicular line slope is minus 4 by 3. What could be its inclination, my dear friends? Why do not you apply parametric form? I want the points which are at a distance of 5 units from this on the line with inclination minus 4 by 3. Minus 4 by 3 tan theta minus 4 by 3 means you can take sin theta is equal to 4 by 5. For inclination theta can be 0 to 180 only. So, sin theta positive, cos theta should be taken negative here, minus 3 by 5. So, why do not you apply x1 plus r minus r, distance is 5, cos theta is minus 3 by 5, comma y1 plus r minus r is going to be 5, sin theta is 4 by 5. So, 5 can be cancelled, you just simplify 4 minus 3, 1 comma 7, and second 4 plus 3, 7 comma minus 1. Second option is the right answer. That is it. It is simply parametric form of a straight line related problem. Okay. Next, the sum of the roots of the equation 2 power 33x minus 2 something. Here you can say 2 power 11x, you can take it as t. You see, you can write 2 power 11x whole cube by 2 square means 4 plus 2 power 11x into 2 square is 4 is 2 power 11x whole square into 2 plus 1. If 2 power 11x is taken as t, my dear friends, t cube by 4 plus 4t is equal to 2t square plus 1. Multiply with 4, t cube plus 16t is equal to 8t square plus 4. You will get finally t cube minus 8t square plus 16t minus 4 equal to 0. Now, my dear friends, I want sum of the roots of this. Why do not you take product of the roots here, because 2 power 11x, right. So, product, suppose it is having 3 roots. So, product of the 3 roots is minus c by a 4. In fact, 2 power 11 x1 into 2 power 11 x2 into 2 power 11 x3. This product is going to be 4. That is 2 power 11 into x1 plus x2 plus x3 is going to be 2 square. So, this is going to be 2, my dear friends. x1 plus x2 plus x3 is going to be 2 by 11. That is all. So, friends, I can say here sum of the roots of this particular equation is going to be 2 by 11. That is it. Next, you see, my dear friends, a bag contains a mixed lot of red and blue balls. If 2 balls are drawn at random, the probability of drawing 2 red balls is 5 times the probability of drawing 2 blue balls, and the probability of drawing 1 ball of each color is 6 times the probability of drawing 2 balls. Okay. So, then the total number of red and blue balls in the bag. Suppose, my dear friends, suppose red balls, suppose say A, blue balls let it be B in number. Total number of balls is A plus B. First thing, what is the probability that, you can say, friends, You see, if 2 balls are drawn at random, the probability of drawing 2 red balls, you see both red probability is, you see, AC2 by this is A plus BC2. Am I correct? Both blue is going to be, you can see my dear friends, BC2 by A plus BC2. Okay. You are drawing both the balls at a time, you want one red, one blue means probability is AC1 into BC1 by A plus BC2. Okay. So, let us call these probabilities like, say this is X, this is Y, this is Z. Okay. Now, he is saying some more data is given. The probability of drawing 2 red balls is 5 times the probability of drawing 2 blue balls. So, X is 5Y. You can just write equate, my dear friends, these two get cancelled. AC2 is 5 times BC2 indirectly. A into A minus 1 is 5 times B into B minus 1. That is what he has given. Next, my dear friends, another one, and the probability of drawing one ball of each color, that means this one, AB by this is 6 times, okay, probability of drawing 2 blue balls is BC2, 6 times B into B minus 1. That means indirectly you can say Z is equal to, this is 6Y he has given. Now my dear friends, from these two equations you can easily solve and you can find A and B. You will get A value 6, B value 3, total balls are going to be 9, my dear friends. That is all. Next, you see this question, A, B are two events such that probability of A is given, probability of A intersection B is given. So, this probability is given, these two together is also given. Okay. So, and the conditional probability, you see friends, P of A given, A complement union B complement can be written as A intersection B whole complement, right. So, this is, my dear friends, P of A by B, A given B means probability of A intersection B whole complement by probability of A intersection B whole complement. P of A given B means P of A intersection B by P of B. What do you mean by A intersection B dash? You see, A intersection B dash means other than this total, when it is taken intersection this, you are going to get P of A minus B area in set theory language, no problem, by P of A intersection B bar. A intersection B is already 3 by 28, remaining is going to be 25 by 28. What about P of A minus B? Total P of A is 4 by 7, P of A intersection B is 3 by 28. So, 16 minus 3, 13 by 28. So, my dear friends, 13 by 28 by 25 by 28, which is 13 by 25. Okay. So, he said this as lambda 13 by lambda, lambda is going to be 25. That is all. Next friends, the consecutive odd integers whose sum is, my dear friends, if you take sum of, sum of first n odd natural numbers is n square. You see, this is like, I doubt whether he has taken up to 45th odd integers minus 21st odd integer. That means what is 22nd odd integer? That is 2n minus 1, that is 44 minus 1, 43. You see this sequence? This is 22nd odd number, this is 23rd and 89 in the sense 45th odd natural number. That means, my dear friends, it is like 1 plus 3 plus and so on 89 minus 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus and so on 41. Just see, these are, there are 45 odd natural numbers up to here. Sum of first 45 odd natural numbers is 45 square. Here this is 21 odd natural numbers, sum of first 21 odd natural numbers. So this perfectly fits with this. Okay. Next friends, consider the system of equations Px plus Qy is 0, Rx plus Sy is equal to 0, where Pq, Rs are only -1 and 1. The probability that the system of equations has a unique solution. Arey yaar, a homogeneous system of equations Ax is equal to 0 will have unique solution if det A not equal to 0. And second statement, the probability that the system of equations has no solution is 0. Correct. A homogeneous system will always have some solution. No solution is impossible. This statement is true, my dear friends. This statement is true. Coming to the first statement, so actually how many 2 by 2 determinants A can be formed? You see, if you take this determinant, here you can fill in 2 ways, 1 or -1. Here 2 ways, here 2 ways, here 2 ways. By fundamental counting principle, you will get 2 into 2 into 2 into 2, 16 determinants are possible for A. So det A 16 are possible. I want the case where det A, you see, the system of equations has unique solution, means det A not equal to 0. Det A not equal to 0 means, my dear friends, the AD minus BC should not be 0. So that means generally these numbers, the product can be 1 or -1, AD minus BC. AD or BC can be either 1 or -1. Suppose if I maintain 1 here, if you maintain same 1, that is 0. So I maintain 1 here, I try to maintain -1 here. You can put -1, 1, yes, or you maintain 1, 1, -1, 1. So two possibilities. So my dear friends, similarly, why don't you put 1, 1 here, like 1, 1 here, -1, 1, 1, 1 here, 1, -1, 4 possibilities you got. Not only that, my dear friends, so we are maintaining 1, -1 here, so minus combinations can also be. This product 1 means, why don't you put -1, -1 and 1, -1 like this. So here you kept 1 with 1, 1 combination, maybe here or here, you got 4. In these ellipse places you put -1, then also it is correct. So 4 and 4, 8 are possible, my dear friends. So out of 16 determinants, 8 determinants will be not equal to 0. So my dear friends, 8 out of 16, 1 by 2, this is correct. The system of equations has a unique solution is 8 by 16, which is 1 by 2, this is correct. Both the statements are correct, whereas you can go with statement is a correct explanation. How can this be correct explanation? Both are two independent discussions, no way they are connected. So we can say that, so both the statements are true, but it is not the correct explanation is the right answer. Okay. Next, you see this question is somewhat different and interesting question, new question. So Priya and Padmini solve a problem on how to count without actually counting, given the textbook as follows. Find the number of ways in which a selection of 5 books can be done out of 3 physics, 3 chemistry, 3 math, of taking at least 1 book of each subject. Books of same subjects are being different, this is important. So 3 math books are there, 3 math books are of different. Say you can say math book of geometry, calculus, algebra, 3 physics books, 3 chemistry books, like that. So all are 9, we can say 9 different books are available. Now Priya has done like this, 1 book of each subject can be, generally how to take, my dear friends, how to take is, you see total number of ways of selecting the books, out of 9 you have to select 5 books minus, or else you can do like this. So the books, there are 3 lots, math lot, physics lot, chemistry lot, you have to take 5. Do remember here books are all distinct, and hence you can take like 1, 1, 3 from any of the, from one set 1, another set 1, another set 3. Of course 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 1, one combination, 2, 2, 1 from one lot to another one. 113 combination you see 3C1 into 3C1 into 3C3 this is. How many such combinations? 3 such combinations plus you remove this case. 2 to 1 means here 3C2 into 3C2 into 3C1 and how many such combinations? 2 to 1, 2 1 2, 1 to 2, 3 such combinations. You just see my dear friends 3 into 3 into 1, this is 9 3s are 27 plus this is 3 into 3 into 3 into 3, 81, which is 108 is the answer my dear friends. You have to choose like this. Whereas Priya has chosen one book of each subject can be taken in 3C1 ways, balance 2 books from the remaining 6 books can be taken in 6C2 ways. So, from the first slot she has taken 1 3C1, second one, third one, from the remaining 6 books you have to you have chosen 2 books. This is Priya's choice, but will it give correct answer? May not be. So, certain combinations will be repeated, but you can just see also 3 into 3 into 3 into 6C2 is going to be, you can say 15, yes. So, 6 into 5 by 2 15, so 135. Here certain items will be repeating my dear friends, yes. So, whereas you see this girl who is Padmini, she has done a book can be selected in 2 ways, this or this. So, 2 cube minus 1, that means at least one book should be taken here. So, what she has done is, you see, one chemistry, so at least one book from chemistry, at least one book in physics she has taken. So, 7 into 7 into 7 she has done, which is absolutely wrong, because totally I need to select 5 books, that combination no way it is there. You just see the question. So, what Priya has done, what Padmini has done, conceptually both are wrong, both will arrive at the wrong answer. Both Priya and Padmini were wrong and their answers are higher than the actual answer. Certain cases will repeat in Priya's case also and Padmini case also. So, here this is no way correct, this seems to be correct, but here also my dear friends you will get, so one book here, one book here, one book here. Total selections if you see my dear friends, here you can say here disjoint kind of selections you will get, whereas here some different kind of things will come. Okay. So, this is why if you keenly observe that this will also be wrong. Okay. Fine. Next my dear friends. So, finally both are wrong and their answers are undoubtedly higher than actual answer. Next. Coming to this question, so we have come to integer type of questions. So, if integral dx by root x plus cube the root of x, it is very clear my dear friends, integral dx by this is x power 1 by 2 plus x power 1 by 3 is given. Why do not you choose x is equal to t power 6, which is my dear friends dx is 6 t power 5 dt by this is going to be t cube plus t square. You can just write my dear friends, you can take t square common, 6 t cube by this is t plus 1. Why do not you write this is dt, which is friends you can write 6 into integral plus 1 minus 1 you can do t cube plus 1 minus 1 by t plus 1 dt, which is 6 into this is a cube plus b cube by a plus b, a square minus ab plus b square minus 1 by t plus 1 dt. Now, you can integrate t cube by 3 minus t square by 2 plus t minus log mod t plus 1. So, which is compared with this, you just t can be replaced by you see x power 1 by 6, you compare a, b, c, d and you can just find modulus of a plus b plus c plus d, it is going to be 1 my dear friends. Okay. Next, f of x is a function given like this, okay, continuous function for all real values of x and satisfies this relation. First point, let this relation be 1 and put x is equal to 1 my dear friends. it is integral 0 to 1 f of t dt, this term becomes 0, right. If you put x is equal to 1, you will get integral 0 to 1 f of t dt is going to be this is 0, this is 1 by 8 plus 1 by 3 plus a. Fine. This is one information. Now, my dear friends, why don't you take derivative on both sides by Leibniz formula? So, here it is, my dear friends, f of x is equal to, if you put 1 into 1 derivative 0 minus x square into f of x, x derivative is 1 plus 1 by 8 into 16 x square, that is 2 x power 15, 6 x power 5, that is 2 x cube. This is f of x, my dear friends, from which you will get 1 minus x square into f of x is equal to 2 x power 15 plus 2 x cube. So, I can say, my dear friends, f of x is, you can take like, 2 you can take out, x cube also you can take, x power 12 plus, you can say, this is going to be plus 1 by, you can say 1 minus x square dx, sorry, 1 minus x square you can take here. Rearrange the things, my dear friends. So, f of x I have taken, dear students, this is, its integral is f derivative taking with respect to x, it is going to be 0 minus of x square into f of x plus its derivative 16 x power 15. So, 2 times 6 x power 5, that is 2 times x cube plus this. So, this is 1 minus x square, in fact 1 plus x square into f of x is 2 x power 5 plus this is 6 x power 5 it is, yes, x power 5 it is. So, I can say, my dear friends, here you just rewrite it so that you can do the integration, because we got already one data here like this information. So, f of x I can write like, so this is 2 x power 5 into x power 10 plus 1 by x square plus 1. You can simplify, my dear friends, this is like x square, if you take it as t, this is 1 plus t power 5. I think you can write here 1 plus t power 5, you can write 1 plus t into t power 4 minus t cube plus t square minus t plus 1. If you could write this, my dear friends, f of x is going to be 2 x power 5 multiplied by 1 plus t gets cancelled, this is x power 8 minus x power 6 plus x power 4 minus x square plus 1. So, f of x is like a polynomial here, my dear friends, we got f of x. Now, what is he asking about? Then the value of 840a, I want a, my dear friends. You need to apply integral 0 to 1 f of t dt to this. You just find integral 0 to 1 f of x dx. You can find it will be a number. You just equate it to 1 by 8 plus 1 by 3 plus a, you will get a value. So, finally, you will get a value to be 167 around. Okay. This now rest of all it is calculation itself. Next, friends, C1 be the graph of xy is equal to 1 and the reflection of C1 in the line y is equal to 2x is C2. Now, the equation of C2 is interesting question. So, first curve is y is equal to 1 by x, its reflection in the curve in the line y is equal to x we need to find. You take the general point on this, why do not you take like t comma 1 by t, actually ct comma c by t we take, xy is equal to c square, c is 1. How to find image of this about the line y is equal to 2x? We have the procedure to find image of a point about a line. You just try, friends. So, h minus x1 by a is equal to k minus y1 by b is equal to minus 2 into, substitute this point here which is 2t minus 1 by t by a square plus b square is 5, my dear friends. From this you will get h is going to be, you can say t minus 4 by 5 into 2t minus 1 by t, which is friends t minus 8 by 5t plus 4 by 5t. This is the one. So, which is going to be, my dear friends, this is minus 3 by 5t plus 4 by 5t. So, finally, I can say 5h, or let me take it as 5x. 5x is going to be, you see, this is t in the denominator here. So, you can say 4 by t minus 3t, right, 3t. Similarly, my dear friends, if you equate these two k value, k is going to be, you see, minus of this plus 1 by t plus 2 by 5 into 2t minus 1 by t. So, which is k is 1 by t plus 4 by 5t minus 2 by 5t, which is, my dear friends, you can say 5k is equal to, you just multiply with 5, this is going to be 5 by t minus 2 by t is 3 by t plus 4t, 3 by t plus 4t. So, you can say 5y is equal to 4t plus 3 by t, my dear friends. Now, I need to find the locus in this format. It clearly indicates 12x square plus cy square is there. You see, for these two almost 4, 4, 3, 3 matches, but 1 by t is there. You just find sum of their squares, 5x whole square plus 5y whole square, you just find. You just find a plus b whole square plus a minus b whole square, you will get in terms of 1 by t square plus t square. Xy is there. So, you multiply these two, 25 xy you find, from this t can be eliminated. You just bring those and substitute, this will definitely be, c value will definitely be 12, 12 into x square plus y square, some number into xy you will get, my dear friends. This you can do, just square it and add, you will get, like you see, 16 by t square, this is 9 by t square, 25 into 1 by t square, similarly plus 25 into t square you will get. So, this is, you are going to get t square, 25 into t square plus 1 by t square you are going to get. Here also 25 xy in the sense, here also 25 into, this is going to be 25 xy is going to be, if you multiply these two you will get 16 plus 12 by t, this is 16 plus 12 by t square, and if you multiply minus 12 t square, and you can say next one is minus 9 you are going to get. From this, my dear friends, t square plus 1 by t square and t square minus 1 by t square, you can eliminate t square, you will definitely get a relation connecting these. Accordingly, you can find b and c values and find, just eliminate t from here. Next, you see this question, you know, this is the definite integral question, limit n tends to infinity, this is sigma r is equal to 1 to 4n. This is, I need to get 1 by n here. So, divide with 1 by n. So, that means if you write 1 by n here, you will get, my dear friends, root n here. So, it will be, you just take root n common, so that n comes here. So, root n r no, so that it becomes root of r by n into you see, yeah, this is going to be, my dear friends, into 3 times root of r by n plus 4 whole square. This is the one. So, by definition of limit of an integral as limit of a sum, this becomes integral r is equal to 1, but 4n no, this becomes 4. This is 1 by x into 3x plus 4 whole square dx. You just take 3x plus 4 as t. So, 3 times dx dt, so that it becomes, yeah, this is going to be root of r by n plus 4 whole square. So, you just take 3x plus 4 as t, so that this becomes, you can split into partial fractions and this integral can be evaluated easily. So, you will get k value to be, you can say 1 by 10. So, 50 into 1 by 10, 5 is the answer. This integral can be evaluated easily. The main part is how you reduce it to root of r by n, f of r by n. Limit n tends to infinity 1 by n sigma r is equal to 1 to 4n 1 by root of r by n into 3 into root of r by n plus 4 whole square. So, we can say this is friends root x 3 root x, yeah, this is why. So, if you take 3 root x plus 4 as t, 3 into 1 by 2 root x dx is equal to dt. In that case, this root x gets cancelled, that too when x is 0, t is 4, when x is 4, this is 6 plus 4, 10, this is you will get 3 by 2. So, you just write 2 by 3 here, supply 3 by 2, this 3 by 2 root x dx will become dt. So, 1 by t square it is, 1 by t square is going to be minus 1 by t the integral, then you apply the limits, that is all, simple one. Next my dear friends, you see this question, the area bounded by this curve, and again modulus is here. You see mod x square y is equal to modulus of x square minus 4 mod x plus 3, because mod x whole square or mod x square both are the same, x square all are the same. So, first of all how to draw the graph of this, you see that too he is asking us to find the area between 1 and 3 only, just out of the interest. So, when x is positive my dear friends, this is going to be y is equal to x square minus 4x plus 3 whose roots are 1 comma 3. So, and hence the graph will be in between 1 and 3 it goes, especially when x is 0 it is 3 my dear friends. This is the graph, and then modulus applied in the sense this negative part whatever it is there it comes up, this need to be cancelled. Of course, I need to extend the definition on left side of 0 also, but I do not require in this problem because the area bounded by this curve x axis from x is equal to 1 to 3 he said, I do not bother about this side graph, I just want this area. So, friends, integral 1 to 3, this curve is not actually this, I have taken negative of this. So, this becomes 4x minus 3 minus x square dx. This is the one, right. So, this you just simplify, you are going to get the answer p by q, you can find the answer, simple area it is, right. This is, shall I do simplification, you can do easily, right. Next question, the expansion of this binomial, sum of all the binomial quotients lies between 200 and 400. Are here in a binomial expansion sum of all binomial quotients is 2 power n. So, for what value of n it lies between 200 and 400, 2 power 5 32, 2 power 6 64, 2 power 7 128, 2 power 8 256, 2 power 9 512, undoubtedly n is going to be 8, and I want the constant term. You see it is like, you see x power minus 3 by 4 plus alpha into, you write x power minus 5 by 4 whole power n. It is like a x power p plus b by x power q whole power n. Shortcut can be applied. Of course, n is going to be 8, right. So, n c r is nothing but my dear friends np minus m by p plus q, that is np is minus 6 minus 0 by p plus q is minus 8 by 4 which is minus 2, r is equal to 3. So, 8c3 into x square quotient 1 power 3 into alpha power 5, this is the one which is given as 448 my dear friends. 8c3 you can compute, from which you will get alpha power 5, you can just find alpha value or a value, is saying a can be calculated. So, I guess a is going to be 32 something, okay. That means alpha value can be 2 something, because it is not divisible by 3, right. So, 3 is impossible, so alpha must be 2, okay, but 4 is highly impossible because 4 power 5 is very big number, 2 power 10 which is 1024, alpha must be 2 my dear friends. Next, this is the binomial expansion. You see, sigma r is equal to 0 to n r plus 1 whole square into CR is given like this. Friends, I think you know this expansion can be written like r square into CR plus 2r into CR plus CR, right. This is the one. So, we have results, of course, r is equal to 0 to n. So, sigma r square into CR, we have formula n into n plus 1 into 2 power n minus 2, yes, plus 2 times RCR is n into 2 power n minus 1 plus CR is 2 power n, my dear friends. That is all. If you could remember those results, 2 power n minus 2, you can take common, this is n square plus n, this is going to be 2 will be 4n, this is 4, my dear friends. So, n square plus 5n plus 4, f of n is going to be n square plus 5n plus 4, right. Now, then the roots of this equation f of x is equal to 0 and alpha comma beta, alpha square plus beta square. For a quadratic equation, friends, alpha square plus beta square is b square minus 2ac by a square, b square minus 2ac by a square. 25 minus 8 is going to be the answer, 17. That is all. Next, my dear friends, the units place of this sum are here after 5 factorial, 6 factorial, all these units digit is 0, that is the simple observation. So, 1 square unit digit is 1, 2 factorial unit digit is 4 and its square is there. 3 factorial unit digit is 6 whose square ends with 6, 4 factorial unit digit is 24 whose square ends with 6, 5 factorial onwards all are multiple of 10, so unit digits will be 0. So, if you just add 10, 7 is the units digit, my dear friends. That is all, simple. Next, my dear friends, the probability of India winning a test match against Australia is 1 by 4, winning is 1 by 4. Okay. Assuming the matches to be independent events, the probability that in a 7 match series India should win occurs at the 4th test. That means, in 1, 2, 3 it has to win only once, 4th test must be win. Okay. Here win means probability 1 by 4. So, in these 3 tests somewhere it has to win. Suppose first win, second lose, loss win, loss, loss win, but final anyhow it should win. So, it should be win. These are the combinations. Independent events, win probability 1 by 4, loss probability is 3 by 4, again 3 by 4 into 1 by 4, that is 9 by 256. Same case, order may vary, you will get the same 9 by 256, 3 such cases, 27 by 256, my dear friends, which is given as P. 256 into P is 27 is the answer. Next, friends, you see the tangents are drawn from the point alpha comma beta to the hyperbola. What is this hyperbola? 3x square minus 2y square is equal to 6, and the angles are theta and phi to the x axis. Tan theta into tan phi, that is slopes, m1 m2 is 2, then the value of this. Friends, this is simple. To any hyperbola, if you want to draw, this is nothing but x square by 2 minus y square by 3 is equal to 1. From any point alpha comma beta, outside point, if you could draw 2 tangents, the tangent can be taken as y is equal to mx plus or minus or plus root of a square m square minus b square. Suppose the tangent slope is m. Here a square is 2, b square is 3, y is equal to mx plus root of 2m square minus 3. Now, this has to pass through the point alpha comma beta, that is beta is equal to m alpha plus or minus root of 2m square minus 3. So, to eliminate square root, you can write beta minus m alpha whole square is equal to 2m square minus 3. You will get alpha square m square plus beta square minus 2m alpha beta is equal to 2m square minus 3. you can prepare a quadratic equation in m, my dear friends. This is alpha square minus 2 into m square minus 2 alpha beta into m plus beta square plus 3 is equal to 0, right. Now, m1, m2 are the roots, given product of the roots, that is beta square plus 3 by alpha square minus 2 is the product of the roots, m1 into m2, this is given as 2. From this you are going to get your answer. You see, beta square plus 3 is equal to 2 alpha square minus 4. 2 alpha square minus beta square is 7. 7 is the answer. Okay. So, that is all, my dear friends. The paper is not so lengthy. It is fine, comfortably we can do. Out of 25 which we need to answer, we can comfortably answer around 20 to 23 questions within the time. That is all, my dear friends.